Chapter 448. Bring it in. Su Huanda scoffed. Yes. Liang strode in. When he saw Chu Li, he paused for a moment, then went to Su Huanda and presented a bamboo tube with both hands. Su Huanda waved his hand. Liang glanced at Chu Li and left. Su Huanda opened the bamboo tube, took out a few pieces of paper, and handed it to Fu Mengshan. Fu Mengshan looked through the 10 pieces of paper one by one. His face darkened. He shook his head and passed it to Su Huanda. Su Huanda quickly looked through it and looked up at Chu Li. Chu Li saw his hesitant expression and smiled. Did I guess it right? Someone from the Secret Guardians Hall did it. Young Chu, Fu Mengshan sighed helplessly. Chu Li had just entered the Secret Guardians Hall and wanted to use him to search for the disciples of the Holy Church of Light. Then, the people below did this and caused trouble for him. However, they could not be said to have done anything wrong. Young Chu. Fu Mengshan slapped his thigh and sighed. Don't be angry. The Secret Guardians Hall was meant to contain the High Duke's public house to prevent them from acting without scruples. In the end, it would be difficult to clean up the mess. With us watching over them, the High Duke's public house will not act recklessly and bring about their own destruction. Chu Li smiled. Commander, can I take a look at this? Su Huanda looked at Fu Mengshan. Fu Mengshan pondered for a moment and slowly nodded. All right, it's okay to take a look, but you have to promise me that you will not touch the people from the Secret Guardians Hall. Chu Li scoffed. 6 protectors of the High Duke's public house. Did they die in vain? They did not expect it to be so serious. Fu Mengshan said it was an unintentional mistake. Is there any difference between an unintentional mistake and an intentional mistake to the 6 dead protectors of the High Duke's public house? Chu Li shook his head. Commander Su, I can only say that I will not do it, but I cannot decide what the High Duke's public house will do. I have to ask Master Xiao. Moreover, even if you don't show it to me, I think I can find out. It's just a matter of time. Su Huanda was annoyed. He kept the paper and said coldly, Chu Li, who do you think you are? You can kill the Secret Guardians whenever you want. If something really happens to them, I'll hold you accountable. Chu Li laughed. Commander Su, if I don't do anything, how are you going to hold me accountable? Su Huanda snorted coldly. Even if you're the one who ordered him to do so. Chu Li asked, how did Commander Su know that I was the one who ordered this? If it's something that the House of High Dukes did, you'll have to answer for it. Su Huanda said coldly, don't think that we can't do anything to you. There are many ways to deal with you. Don't force us to do that. Chu Li turned his head to look at Fu Mengshan. Commander, I'd like to request for punishment first. What punishment? Fu Mengshan asked gently. Chu Li said, I can't complete the task given to me by the commander. With such a huge incident happening in the High Duke's public house, I can't calm down and investigate the Holy Church of Light. Even if I force myself to, I won't be able to find anything. Fu Mengshan's face also darkened. He stared at Chu Li and said coldly, Chu Li, are you threatening me? Chu Li gave a fist salute. I dare not. I'll request for isolated cultivation in the Secret Guardians Hall so that I won't be blamed if anything happens to the Secret Guardians. I didn't see any news. If I'm in isolated cultivation, I can't order the High Duke's public house to do anything. What the High Duke's public house does has nothing to do with me. Commander Su, you won't be held accountable. All right, Su Huanda sneered. As long as you imprison yourself in the Secret Guardians Hall, you won't be blamed if anything happens. Chu Li smiled. That's the best. Commander! Su Huanda scoffed. Fu Mengshan frowned and looked at Chu Li. Do you really want to do this? Chu Li nodded slowly. This is the only way to put Commander Su at ease. That's right, Su Huanda said. Fu Mengshan regained his gentle expression and sighed. You guys. All right, Chu Li will imprison yourself in your courtyard. For the next 10 days, you're not allowed to see anyone. Thank you, Commander. Chu Li gave a fist salute. Su Huanda scoffed. It seems that you're very confident in the High Duke's public house. Of course. Chu Li said lightly. Outsiders think that the High Duke's public house is weak. This time, I'll let everyone see whether the High Duke's public house is weak or not. Commander Su, I'll take my leave. Commander, I'll send Chu Li over and stay with him for a few days. Su Huanda said. You guys. Fu Mengshan laughed. Elder Su, why are you acting like a child? I don't believe that he can really hold it in. Su Huanda scoffed. All right, we'll do as you say. Fu Mengshan shook his head helplessly and broke into laughter. Su Huanda turned his head and said, We'll stay in the same courtyard. It's my honor, Chu Li said. The two of them left the main hall and arrived at the small courtyard. The small courtyard had been refurbished. It was clean, and the furniture had been replaced. The dilapidated feeling was swept away. Chu Li stood in the small courtyard and looked around. He nodded in satisfaction. Although it could not be compared to the High Duke's public house and the imperial residence, it was quiet enough. The surrounding air was also fresh. When he channeled the scripture of life and death, spiritual energy surged from all directions. There were many old trees in the secret guardian's hall. Commander Su, how about we spar? Chu Li said. Su Huanda squinted his eyes and scoffed. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you with one palm? Chu Li smiled. I have nothing better to do. It's to relieve my boredom. All right, Su Huanda said. He also wanted to see Chu Li's capabilities. He wanted to know what gave him the confidence to be so arrogant. Bang! Chu Li threw a punch, and Su Huanda threw a palm. The fist and palm energy collided in the air. The surrounding flower beds shook as if a strong wind blew past. You're quite capable. Su Huanda frowned. Chu Li smiled and threw another punch. He was getting more and more familiar with High Duke Lu's fist technique. Bang, 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 bang. The two's fist and palm collided. Their bodies gradually approached each other. Chu Li's movements were unusually fast, while Su Huanda's techniques were exquisite. The two of them fought for 20 moves, and it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. Satisfying. Chu Li stopped and closed fist saluted. Commander Su is indeed powerful. I'm impressed. Su Huanda's face darkened. He was a little depressed. He initially thought that he could suppress Chu Li. After the fight, he realized that the depth and purity of Chu Li's inner energy was far beyond his imagination. It was not an undeserved reputation. He might not be able to suppress him. Commander Su, let's stop here. We'll come again tomorrow. Chu Li smiled. Let's limit it to 20 moves. How about that? Very well, Su Huanda scoffed. Chu Li closed fist saluted and entered the east wing. He left the main bedroom for Su Huanda. The sun was setting. When Su Huanda was meditating, Chu Li disappeared in a flash. The next moment, he appeared in a waterside pavilion at Snow Crescent Lake. Su Ru was dressed in a loose white robe. She was lying on her side on the couch with a book in her hand. The light in the waterside pavilion was bright and gentle. It made her look as beautiful as a flower. Seeing Chu Li suddenly appear, Su Ru rolled her eyes and rolled her eyes. You finally remembered. Chu Li smiled. I've been too busy lately. How are things here? It's all right. The days are peaceful. Su Ru nodded. You wouldn't visit me without a reason. Tell me, what's the matter? Chapter 449. Why are we going to Green Hill? Su Ru put down her scroll and sat up lazily. She yawned. Green Hill has been quite well behaved recently. They were scared out of there wits by your blade last time. After she came to Snow Lunar Pavilion, she was no longer a maid. She spent most of her time reading and cultivating. With nothing to do, her temperament slowly changed. Humph, they are not scared out of their wits. Chu Li sneered. They are doing something else and have no time to bother with Snow Lunar Pavilion. Su Ru understood immediately. What did they do this time? Chu Li told her about the incident at the High Duke's public house. 6 protectors died. Su Ru's face darkened. She had always regarded the High Duke's public house as her home. The guards of the High Duke's public house were like family. Even if they were at odds with each other, they were still family. Su Ru asked again, "Who is the murderer?" "I received news that Green Hill and Feng Huang Hill colluded. They also joined forces with Huan Jian sect, Golden Blade faction, and Nine Spirits Hill. 5 factions attacked at the same time." Chu Li said, "Looks like the High Duke's public house pushed them too hard. They are desperate now." 5 factions joined forces? Su Ru frowned. These 5 sects were not ordinary sections. Green Hill and Feng Huang Hill were first-rate sects, while Jindao Clan, Huanjin sect, and Nine Spirits Hill were strong sects among the second-rate sections. Their reputations were comparable to Taihua Valley. Taihua Valley hid their strength. If they really revealed it, they might not lose to Green Hill. But who knew if these 3 sects were like Taihua Valley and had hidden their strength? Each faction was not strong enough compared to the High Duke's public house. But the 5 factions combined were stronger than the High Duke's public house. Their sudden attack caught the High Duke's public house off guard. It was natural for 6 protectors to die. If this continued, more protectors would be lost. Chu Li said, "Master Xiao Taiying made a good move. He withdrew all the protectors into the public house and did not go out. He did not lose any more people. Only Master Xiao Taiying would do something like this." Su Ru smiled. Chu Li nodded. Without this step, they would have lost more protectors if they were caught off guard. "I need to go to Green Hill to confirm the authenticity of this news." "I'll bring you there," Su Ru said. "I've been to Green Hill once. Let's leave quietly. We'll leave now. I still have something to do." Chu Li said, "You don't want to see Han Yen?" Su Ru smiled. "She talks about you every day." Chu Li shook his head. "We'll talk about it next time. Let's settle this first." "All right," Su Ru said. "Then let's go." Chu Li glanced at her body. Su Ru came back to her senses. "I'll change my clothes." She hurriedly entered the house next door and changed into a dark green outfit. Her skin was as white as jade, and she looked even more beautiful. Chu Li held her waist and disappeared from the waterside pavilion in a flash. When they reached the foot of the mountain, they followed the direction that Su Ru had told them to go. It was as if he had shrunk the ground into an inch. With a single step, he was more than 100 feet, and his speed was as fast as lightning. A bright moon hung high up in the night sky. The surroundings were quiet. Only the chirping of insects could be heard. The moonlight shone on their bodies like water. Su Ru was a little intoxicated by the night scenery, but Chu Li was not in the mood to appreciate it. Suddenly, he stopped at the top of a peach tree. "It's too late. I have to go back now. Wait for me at the foot of Green Hill. I'll be there tomorrow." "All right." Su Ru nodded. Along the way, Chu Li had already told her about the situation after they parted. Su Ru also understood Chu Li's current situation. He could not arouse the suspicion of the deputy commander of the secret guardians' hall, Su Huanda. Chu Li plucked 2 strands of Su Ru's hair and appeared in the east room of the courtyard of the secret guardians' hall. Su Huanda's voice came from outside. "Chu Li, Chu Li," Chu Li said in a deep voice. "What's the matter?" He opened the window and said unhappily, "I'm cultivating. I can't be disturbed." Su Wanda looked at him for a while. You're too careless. Chu Li stared at him with a sour expression. Spit it out if you have something to say. You're not eating dinner. I'm not eating. All right then, I'll eat by myself. Su Wanda shook his head. You have quite a temper. Chu Li closed the window with a bang and lay back on the bed. He closed his eyes, and the image of the golden Lohan appeared in his mind. His mind entered it and slowly entered a meditative state. His body on the bed adjusted its posture and slowly matched the posture of the golden Lohan in his mind. His breathing became slower and slower until it matched the frequency of the golden Lohan in his mind. Every breath he took was like silk, long and endless. When he woke up in the morning, the aura around his body was warm as if he was soaking in a hot spring. He was full of energy, refreshed, and indescribably happy. It was as if the whole world had come alive. After the aura circulated for a while, the water ball formed from the heavenly demonic energy appeared again. It quickly circled around his body and absorbed the aura before returning to his precordium. Chu Li's body was light and empty. His bones were extremely hard, and he was full of energy. The golden Lohan's power was indeed extraordinary. He would try not to let the heavenly demonic energy devour it next time. He got up and left the East Room. Su Wanda was practicing his fist technique in the courtyard. His movements were slow and elegant, as if he was dancing. Under such circumstances, his dark face looked more pleasing to the eye. He took a step forward and stood in front of Su Wanda and punched. Su Wanda slowly pushed his palm forward. Bang! The fist energy and palm energy collided. Chu Li took a step back. Su Wanda also took a step back. Su Wanda's expression turned ugly. He finally concluded that Chu Li's cultivation level was on par with his. Chu Li retracted his palm and said, Looks like we can't tell who's better. Commander Su, you're so relaxed. Don't tell me you're slacking off. Everyone has their own duties. I'm not busy, Su Wanda said coldly. Chu Li stopped talking and started practicing the Darkeen palm. Su Wanda also started practicing the fist technique from before. The courtyard became quiet again. A maid brought food over. The two ate at the stone table and went back to their respective rooms. Su Wanda was determined to keep an eye on Chu Li. He stayed in the house for a while and went to the courtyard. He started practicing his palm technique slowly. He was determined to keep an eye on Chu Li so that he could not run away. The Green Hill was a towering mountain peak that reached into the sky. Half of the mountain was covered by clouds and mist. There was a valley halfway up the mountain. In the valley, there were rows upon rows of buildings. It was antique. The Green Hill faction that had been passed down for almost 1,000 years was located here. A gray basilica was built against the precipice. The basilica and the straight stone wall seemed to be one. The basilica was empty except for a few armchairs. A picture of the Green Hill was hung on the north wall. It looked imposing. The three of them sat on the armchairs. The atmosphere in the spacious basilica was tense. Eldest brother, what do we do now? A chubby old man with a round face said angrily, If I had to say, this is pure nonsense. Do you think the High Duke's public house is so easy to mess with? That's enough, third brother. What's the point of talking about this now? We've already fought. The square-faced old man in the lead waved his hand. He had a head of white hair. His maroon face was flushed and his eyes were bright. Another old man had a sallow face. He looked sickly, but his eyes were bright and sharp. Third brother, are you going to run to the High Duke's public house and beg for mercy? We've already killed them. I only regret that we killed too little. Only 6 died. A bunch of useless people. The High Duke's public house will definitely take revenge. The round-faced old man shook his head. They won't let this go. Hee, you think too highly of them. The sallow-faced old man smiled sarcastically. I thought the High Duke's public house was strong. They were majestic and imposing. But in the end, they retreated after a fight. They're so afraid of death. They retreated, but they'll make their move soon. The round-faced old man said anxiously, if they know that the 5 of us joined forces, they won't let us go easily. Chapter 450. Eldest Brother. The round-faced elder frowned and shouted. The red-faced elder waved his hand and said, Third brother, forget it. Don't underestimate yourself. The High Duke's public house is strong, but after this incident, they lack courage. If the martial arts masters lose their spirit, they're nothing to worry about. We've been suppressed for so many years. It's time to regain our prestige and let the world know about Green Hill. The ancestors of Green Hill were famous for a time. The younger generation of disciples could not surpass their predecessors and barely maintained their heritage. With the rise of Snow Lunar Pavilion, Green Hill's status declined and was looked down upon by the world. Other than Snow Lunar Pavilion, the E-Public House was also getting stronger. With the strength of the E-Public House, the martial arts world of all the sects in Chongming Road was pressured to the point of suffocation. At this time, they needed a leader to unite everyone to fight against the E-Public House. The E-Public House was strong, but it was impossible to be stronger than the alliance of several major sections. As long as they had a good grasp of the situation, they could counter the High Duke's public house and suppress them to the point of suffocation. The E-Public House wanted to unite by marriage with Y Public House. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once the 2 High Duke's public houses united by marriage, the imperial court would definitely be uneasy. The other public houses would also be afraid. More importantly, the major sects in Chongming Road would have a sense of crisis. Once the 2 public houses united, they would not be able to survive. This was the best time to unite the sects to deal with the E-Public House. If they did not seize the opportunity, they would not be able to fight against the E-Public House anymore. Eldest brother, I'm afraid that it'll backfire. The round-faced elder sighed and said, The High Duke's public house seems to have retreated, but it's like a punch. Retracting and then hitting back is the most terrifying thing. Hee, they might be confused now. They've been beaten silly and don't know who did it. The sallow-faced elder shook his head and laughed. They have too many enemies. They won't be able to find us in a short time. I hope they find us soon. The red-faced elder sighed. I'm afraid that a long delay will bring trouble. Eldest brother, you're worrying too much. We're in the same boat now. They can only follow us to the end. The sallow-faced elder said, It's only been a few days, and the disciples are already full of resentment. The round-faced old man frowned and said, If it really doesn't work, let the experts of the various sects live outside the valley and stay far away from it, lest they start fighting. How could they be willing to move out of the valley? The sallow-faced old man said, After all, we were the ones who invited them. Humph, it's not like he's helping us. The round-faced old man said unhappily, This is helping themselves. It's as if we owe them. I really can't stand it. Keep this under wraps for now. The red-faced elder waved his hand and said, Looks like we can't wait for the High Duke's public house to investigate on their own. Think of a way to leak the news to them so that they can come to us as soon as possible. Eldest senior brother, which faction did you say sent us the news? The sallow-faced elder asked. Was it from the imperial court? Most likely. The red-faced elder said coldly, They don't have any good intentions either. They can't wait for us to fight to the death with the High Duke's public house so that our strength will be greatly damaged. I'm worried that it might be another sect. The round-faced old man frowned and said, "If they suddenly appear when we are exhausted, then we will become a joke. Don't worry. The alliance of the 5 major sects is strong enough. We don't need to fear anyone." The sallow-faced elder said impatiently, "Third brother, can't you say something nice? Don't say such depressing things." "Anyway, I don't think this alliance will work." The round-faced elder scoffed. The red-faced elder said, "Third brother, nothing can be guaranteed. If we want to reap great rewards, we must take great risks. We can't have it both ways. We can only gamble on this. If we succeed, the Green Hill will be the top faction in the martial arts world. If not, then we'll just lie low for a few years. It's no big deal." Sigh. The round-faced elder slowly nodded. Chu Li stood at the side of the basilica and listened to the conversation between the 3. He shook his head and disappeared again. Chu Li appeared in the east wing of the courtyard of the Secret Guardians Hall. He pushed the door open and went out. Su Huanda was practicing his palm technique in the courtyard. His movements were relaxed and slow. The sound of blood flowing in his body could be heard faintly. His cultivation level was very high. Chu Li walked in front of him and started practicing his fist technique slowly. "Commander Su, the people from the Secret Guardians Hall sold the information about the High Duke's public house to the Green Hill, right?" Chu Li said casually. Su Huanda's movements paused for a moment before he recovered. He said nonchalantly, "Don't talk nonsense." Chu Li said, "Which fella did it?" Su Huanda scoffed. "Why, you want revenge?" Chu Li shook his head. "I'm just reminding Commander Su to quickly ask them to return before they get punished by the High Duke's public house. Don't underestimate the High Duke's public house. They have eyes and ears everywhere. The Glorysville courtyard is also in charge of intelligence. The things that those 2 secret guardians did can't be hidden from the High Duke's public house." Su Huanda looked at him, but did not say anything. Chu Li slowly closed his eyes and only practiced his fist technique without saying anything. The atmosphere in the courtyard became gloomy. After a while, Chu Li stopped practicing. "Commander Su, I'm going to meditate and cultivate. Don't disturb me. Don't even call me when you're eating." "Okay, got it." Su Huanda lightly replied. Chu Li fist saluted and turned to return to the east wing. He lay on his side on the bed and did not move. Soon, he channeled the life and death scripture. There was no aura around him, as if he had disappeared from the world. After a quarter of an hour, Su Huanda came to Chu Li's window as if nothing had happened. He stopped and listened attentively. He did not hear anything and could not sense Chu Li's presence. He frowned and thought for a while. He gently opened the door and silently floated into Chu Li's bedroom. Chu Li was lying on his side on the bed. He looked peaceful and motionless. His breathing seemed to have stopped. There was no aura around him. It was as if there was only a shadow in front of him. Su Huanda's dark face showed a surprised expression. He originally thought that Chu Li had sneaked out. He did not expect that he was really cultivating. This martial art was so strange. No wonder he did not respond. In this state, he was like a tortoise. He was probably isolated from the outside world. If he gave him a palm strike, he might be able to kill him in one hit. When he thought of this, he was a little tempted. He then restrained his killing intent. Chu Li was now an indispensable person in the secret hall. It was all thanks to him that the disciples of the Holy Church of Light were taken care of. Otherwise, the commander and himself would not have allowed him to be so arrogant. They would have let him know the power of the Secret Guardians Hall. He silently left the East Wing and returned to his own room to meditate. It was indeed embarrassing that his cultivation level was not as good as Chu Li. He should take this opportunity to calm down and cultivate properly. He should surpass this guy. Co Taiying and Co Baiha were talking in the main hall. The atmosphere was gloomy. 6 protectors of the House of High Dukes were dead. The rest of the protectors retreated to the House of High Dukes. This was a huge blow to the morale of the House of High Dukes. The protectors were depressed. They were killed for no reason. They could not find the murderer. Moreover, they did not look for the murderer. They just stayed in the house and let the murderer roam freely if it was not for the eldest master's high prestige. Everyone would have to obey even if they were dissatisfied. If it was someone else who gave the order, they would have questioned it. Co Taiying was under a huge pressure. Co Baiha could not bear to watch. Big brother, don't think too much. They are definitely here for your wedding. As long as the wedding goes smoothly, everyone will calm down. It's my fault. Co Taiying sighed. I should have guessed that they would kill me. I should have called them back earlier. Chapter 4:51. Chu Li slowly walked into the basilica and
it was so
smiled.
lifelike.
Fourth young
Chu Li
master
said,
is right.
Even if
Eldest
these two
master,
Imperial House
you
secret
shouldn't think
guardians
this
are
way.
crippled, the secret
Chu
guardians
Li,
hall will still
CO
send more
Tying
people over.
was overjoyed.
This time,
Chu
it
Li
was these
closed
two
fists
fellows
saluted.
who acted on their own
Greetings,
and caused this
Master
incident.
Xiao Tying.
It's good that they're
Fourth
replaced.
master.
CO
Xiao
Tying
said,
cupped his fist
the
to
key
return the greeting,
is still the alliance
and said with a
of the
smile,
5 factions.
"You're finally back.
Looks
Big
like
Brother
I
has
have
been
to go
waiting
all
for
out.
Chu Li
asked,
turned his head.
What does
and
Master
looked
Xiao
around.
Tying plan to do?
Is it convenient
Gather
for you,
all the
Mr.
grandmasters
and
and
clean
clean
up
up
the
the
Green
Green
Hill?
Smile widened.
The grandmasters
Mr.
from the
Tion's
5
schemes
sects
are
are
profound.
profound. At Green
You
Hill,
really live up
they have
to your
predicted
reputation.
Master
That's
Xiao
good.
Tying's reaction.
Chu Li smiled
and
and
waiting
nodded.
for a head-on
This
blow.
time,
The Green
Xiao
Hill
Baihe
and
muttered,
Feng Huang
let's
Mountain
avoid
are
the strong
leaders.
and attack
the
the weak.
Golden Blade
Let's go to
faction,
Feng Huang Mountain
returning
first.
Sword
What do you
sect,
think?
and
That's a
Nine
good
Spirits
idea.
Mountain are
CO
also
Tying
participating.
gritted his teeth.
The 5
and
sects
said,
are
destroy
working
Feng
together.
Huang Hill
The
and give them a
alliance of the
warning.
5 sects.
Chu Li, what do you think?
CO Tying
Chu Li
and
said,
CO Baihe
I'm
looked
afraid
serious.
it won't be that
They
easy
felt
to
that the
destroy
other party
Feng
was strong,
Huang Mountain.
but they did
From
not
what I see,
expect
it's
the
better to
situation
destroy
be
the
like
remaining
this.
3 factions.
Just like how the Imperial
The first-rate
Court was worried
sects
about
have
the
a
High Dukes
terrifying
public houses
background.
forming an alliance.
It's better to weaken
the
them
High
first.
Dukes public houses
It's
were
not
most
worth
afraid
it to
of
destroy
factions
them.
forming an alliance.
CO Tying
Chu Li
frowned
said.
and said,
As for the news
if
about
that's
the protectors
case,
of the High
won't
Dukes
the
public
world
house,
laugh at us for
it was
bullying
leaked
the
by
weak
the
and
secret
fearing the
guardians
strong?
of the Imperial House.
Chu Li smiled.
Damn it, and said,
CO
bullying
Tying
the
angrily
weak and fearing the
slammed
strong is the
armrest
iron
of his
law
armchair.
of the martial arts
Xiao
world.
Baihe sneered,
Like these 3
and
factions,
said, these guys
they don't
are
have
always
enough
looking for
strength,
trouble.
but they still want to get
Chu Li
involved.
shook his head and
They're
said,
digging their
eldest
own
master.
graves.
Next
Time,
master, let's
I'm
see who
considered a
dares to mess
secret
around
guardian
behind
of the Imperial
Green Hill
House now,
and Feng
That's
Huang
how I
Mountain.
got this information.
Weaken their influence.
And it's
CO
not too late to deal
and
with them
CO
later.
Baihe looked at him
CO Baihe
in
said,
surprise.
Chief
Chu
Chu
Li
are
smiled
the first-rate
bitterly.
sects really?
It's a long
That's
story,
scary. But in
they
short,
all have
the
the
secret
surpassing
guardians
stake.
of the Imperial
They've
House came to the
existed
Imperial
longer
residence
than
to
our High
cause
Duke's
trouble for
public
me.
house.
Lady
Who
Xiao
knows
killed
if they're
them,
hiding some
and
old
then went to the
demons
Imperial
that will
Palace to
appear
question
at the crucial
the Emperor
moment.
why the secret
Moreover,
guardians of the
the
Imperial
first-rate
House were
sects
so arrogant.
must have some hidden
The
strength.
Emperor gave me the
They
identity
themselves
of
have
the
the
secret
surpassing
guardian
stake.
of the Imperial House.
Who knows how many
and I
grandmasters
can't get
they
rid
have.
of it for now.
There are 3.
Second sister
maybe only
really
2.
knows how to make
If they're
trouble.
really that powerful,
CO Tying
wouldn't they
laughed.
have already
She
suppressed
even
our
dared
High
to
Duke's
kill the
public
secret
house?
guardians of the
CO
Imperial
Baihe
House.
said.
Chu
Xiao
Li said,
Baihe laughed,
they can't be
but he
compared
also
to our
felt
High
relieved.
Duke's public house.
The secret guardians
Moreover,
of the Imperial
they have their
House
own
had
enemies.
caused too much
For
trouble
example,
for the public house.
Green Hill and
Chu Li
Snow
said,
Lunar Pavilion.
This time,
It was
hundreds
2
of
secret
years of
guardians
hatred
from the Imperial
that can't
House
be
who
resolved.
leaked the news.
In comparison,
cripple their
their
martial
grudge
arts
with our
first,
High Duke's
so that they
public
don't
house
escape
is
back
not
to the fairies'
that deep.
capital. If they really want
Fine,
to go against
cripple
our
them
High
and vent
Duke's
my
public
anger.
house,
CO
Snow Lunar
Tying said
Pavilion
hatefully,
will
Who
definitely
is it?
not let
Chu
go
Li
of this
said,
good opportunity.
Bring me a pen and paper.
CO Baihe
Lin
slowly
Quan.
nodded
CO
and came to a
Tying said,
realization:
Lin
if
Quan,
we weaken
who
their
was
standing in
strength,
the corner,
their enemies will have a
responded
chance.
and went to the
But
table
once
to
their
grind the
enemy's
ink.
strength increases,
Chu Li waited
will
for
they
him to
threaten
grind the
our
ink.
High Duke's
Then he
public
waved
house?
the brush and
That's
drew
why we have
2
to control the
portraits
scale.
in one
Chu
go.
Li said,
CO
we can't
Tying
act
and
based on
CO
emotions.
Baihe took a few
We
glances
have to
at it
stand on the
and
High
nodded.
Duke's
Public House's point of view to balance all parties. CO Baihe looked at CO Tying and shook his head with a bitter smile. He knew that this was too difficult for his big brother. His big brother was emotional. How could he be so calm and weigh the pros and cons? Are we just going to let Green Hill and Feng Huang Mountain go? CO Tying scoffed. Chu Li said, they killed 6 of our people. Then we'll kill 60 of them. Green Hill will kill 60. Feng Huang Mountain will kill 60. And the remaining 3 sects will be annihilated. What do you think? Big brother, I think it's doable. CO Baihe said, 1 against 10. Let's see if they still dare to do it next time. CO Tying sighed and said hatefully, we're still not strong enough. If the High Duke's public house was strong enough, they could directly annihilate these 5 sections. Let's see who would dare to offend the High Duke's public house again. Chu Li smiled bitterly and shook his head. No matter how strong the High Duke's public house was, the Emperor would not be able to sit still. Living in this world, who could truly do whatever they wanted and roam the world freely. Even the Emperor could not. If one really wanted to live as he pleased, he would need to be the best in the world in martial arts and be alone without any worries.
But if that was the case, so what if he was the best in the world? He would be lonely and doing as he pleased. Chu Li said, I'll take actions secretly and see if I can kill a few grandmasters. I'll leave the rest to Master Co Taiying. Chu Li, you don't have to worry anymore. Co Taiying said in a low voice, if we can't even do this, then we're too useless. Chu Li said, this time we'll make a name for ourselves and also clear the obstacles for the wedding. This time we'll completely put their thoughts to rest. Co Taiying nodded slowly. Chu Li closed fist saluted and left. 5 days later, 9 Spirits Hill was annihilated. 9 days later, Golden Blade faction was annihilated. 12 days later, Green Hill suffered heavy losses. More than 100 disciples and 2 grandmasters died. 15 days later, Huanjian sect was annihilated. 16 days later, Feng Huang Mountain suffered heavy losses. More than 100 disciples and 3 grandmasters died. At this point, 3 second-rate martial arts factions vanished. 2 first-rate martial arts factions, Green Hill and Feng Huang Mountain, suffered heavy losses. They would not be able to recover within 50 years. Chapter 452. P.S. I realized that everyone's appetite has been spoiled, so I plan to resume 6 chapters. Early in the morning, Chu Li was cultivating in the courtyard of the Secret Guardians Hall when Su Huanda strode in. Chu Li glanced at him and continued with his practice. Su Huanda sat by the stone table. Chu Li, you can come out now. Chu Li smiled. There's no rush. I'm in a good state now. I'll go into isolation for a while. It's much better here than in the imperial residence. It's really quiet. Su, Huanda said coldly, were you the one who killed those 2 secret guardians? What secret guardians? Chu Li was stunned and stopped what he was doing. Then he came to a realization. Oh, the 2 that sent the message to the public house's opponents? What happened to them? Su Huanda scoffed. Their martial arts were crippled. Only their martial arts were crippled. Chu Li continued what he was doing. He shook his head and sighed. Master Xiao Taiying is so merciful. If it were me, I'd just kill them and bury them in a secluded place. No one can say anything. Su Huanda's eyes were sharp as he stared at him, trying to see if he was telling the truth. Chu Li said, Commander Su suspects me? How would I know who they are? I've been staying here all day. How could I kill them? Humph. Su Huanda gritted his teeth. It better not be you, or else. Chu Li slowly moved his palms and said slowly, since you let me out, it must be quiet outside. What's the situation? Su Huanda said coldly, it's not a good thing for the public house to be so arrogant. Chu Li said, the public house's arrogance will make the emperor wary. However, the emperor will be wary even if they're arrogant or not. Are the 2 secret guardians okay? They won't die. Su Huanda scoffed. He was also annoyed with the 2 of them. They acted on their own and had personal grudges mixed in. They were so selfish that they caused such a huge disturbance. Even if their martial arts were not crippled, they would not be treated well when they returned to the Secret Guardians Hall. Chu Li slowly stopped and exhaled. The white gas that he exhaled was like an arrow that shot 10 feet away before dissipating. Su Huanda frowned. This fellow's inner force was extremely pure, and it was slightly better than his own. It had only been 15 days, but the speed of his advancement was far above his own. If this continued, he would soon be no match for him. A handsome young man appeared in front of the imperial residence of King An. He had an imposing appearance and stood there like a jade tree in the wind. Naturally, he would attract the attention of the people around him. He was in high spirits. When he arrived at the imperial residence of King An, the 2 protectors looked at him cautiously. They could feel the danger that he emitted. May I ask who young master is looking for? A guard cupped his fists and asked in a deep voice, I am Meng Jian, Meng Ji's brother. I wonder if my younger brother, Meng Ji, is in the residence? The handsome young man closed fist saluted and smiled. Deputy Commander Meng? The two guards were startled and looked at each other. Did something happen to my brother? Meng Jian asked slowly. His face darkened, and his voice was slow but powerful. Every word seemed to knock on the hearts of the two guards. They trembled and hurriedly waved their hands. The guard in front of him hurriedly said, Deputy Commander Meng has left the residence and hasn't returned yet. How long has it been? Meng Jian asked in a low voice. More than a month. I would like to see the Royal Highness, said Meng Jian. Young Master Meng, we can't make the decision on our own. All right, go ahead. A guard hurriedly ran into the imperial residence. Chief Zhu quickly strode out and closed fist saluted the moment he stepped out of the residence. He was all smiles. Young Master Meng, please come in. Please come in. Meng Jian closed fist saluted and smiled faintly. Chief Zhu said, calling me old? That's enough. I am now the chief of the outer residence. Young Master Meng, please come in. Chief Zhu, Meng Jian nodded gently and followed Chief Zhu into the imperial residence. On the way, Meng Jian asked, I heard that my younger brother has left the residence for more than a month. Did something happen? I really don't know. Commander Meng reports directly to His Royal Highness. I have no right to ask. His Royal Highness is currently in seclusion. I don't know if the commander knows about this. I'll go get Commander Zheng immediately, Chief Zhu said helplessly. He brought Meng Jian into the main hall and ordered someone to serve Zheng Lide. Then he attentively served good tea. Zheng Lide quickly entered the main hall. Commander Zheng, this is Commander Meng's brother, young Master Meng Jian. Chief Zhu took the opportunity to leave after the introductions. Zheng Lide said, I've heard from Commander Meng that young Master Meng Jian is a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. He sighed to himself that Meng Ji had a good brother. He was talented and had an impressive aura. He was definitely not an ordinary person. I am. Meng Jian closed fist saluted and said gently. He was calm and quiet. His voice was soothing and unhurried. Sigh, I'm sorry for Commander Meng. There's still no news of Commander Meng. He must have met with an accident. Zheng Lide shook his head and sighed. My younger brother is dead? Meng Jian frowned. We haven't seen him, dead or alive. It's hard to explain the situation. Zheng Lide said. He shook his head and sighed. What did my brother do? I'd like to ask His Royal Highness in person. Meng Jian said. His Royal Highness is in seclusion. Young Master Meng, you can wait for a while. You can ask when His Royal Highness is out of seclusion. Zheng Lide said, Looks like His Royal Highness doesn't care about my brother's life or death. You haven't sent anyone to investigate, right? Meng Jian said, His Royal Highness is naturally concerned about Commander Meng and ordered me to investigate. There are no clues at all. It's like he disappeared into thin air. Zheng Lide shook his head. Does my brother have any enemies? Meng Jian asked. Zheng Lide was stunned. He wanted to say something, but stopped himself. Meng Jian said calmly, Commander Zheng was my brother's colleague. Are you going to watch as the murderer roams free and unfettered? We haven't seen Commander Meng's corpse yet. We can't be sure that he's dead. Maybe he had a fortuitous encounter and is now in seclusion. Zheng Lide quickly said. Meng Jian shook his head. My brother is no longer in this world. His senses were sharp. After stepping into the imperial residence, he could finally conclude that his brother was dead. His aura no longer existed in this world. Sigh, what a pity. I got along well with Elder Meng. How could he Never mind. This is the fate of us martial artists. Zheng Lai shook his head. I would like to see His Royal Highness, Meng Jian said. His Royal Highness is in seclusion and does not see visitors. Zheng Lai said. I think His Royal Highness will see me, Meng Jian said. All right then. Let's ask revered Sir Su Ning first. Young Master Meng, please follow me, Zheng Lai said. The two of them arrived outside the cultivation courtyard. Su Ning was dressed in a yellow monk's robe. His eyes were closed as he sat quietly on the cattail hassock outside the cultivation courtyard. He was motionless and had already entered a meditative state. When the two of them appeared, Su Ning slowly opened his eyes. His clear gaze landed on Meng Jian's face. He pressed his palms together. Almsgiver Meng, from the Titanium Temple, Meng Jian asked. Su Ning said, I am Su Ning. Almsgiver Meng wishes to see His Royal Highness. Please wait for an hour. All right. I never thought that a monk from the Titanium Temple would appear in the imperial residence. Meng Jian nodded slowly. Su Ning smiled and pressed his palms together before closing his eyes again. Meng Jian scoffed and did not say anything else. Zheng Lai quickly bid farewell and left. Chapter 453. P.S. Recommending the Dark Eggplant's Sovereign Celestial Dynasty. It has its own unique charm. P.S. It's 6 o'clock today. Meng Jian kept looking at Su Ning. As a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain, he naturally knew about the Titanium Temple. The disciples of the Titanium Temple were all detached from the mortal world. They were carefree and only lived for one purpose in this world, to cultivate and become a Buddha. Everything they did was for cultivation. The 10 lifetimes of Buddhahood would allow them to become a Buddha sooner or later and enter the Titanium Temple in the 30th heaven. It was said that the difference between the Titanium Temple there and the Titanium Temple here was like the difference between the fairy's capital and a village in the countryside. The disciples of the Titanium Temple usually did not care about worldly affairs. Even if they stepped into the mortal world, it was only to train their state of mind and for cultivation. They would not lust for riches and glory. Who would have thought that Su Ning would serve the prince's mansion? Su Ning suddenly opened his eyes and said, Almsgiver Meng, allow me to report to His Royal Highness. Please, said Meng Jian. Su Ning pushed open the door to the cultivation courtyard. A moment later, he bowed with pressed palms. Almsgiver Meng, His Royal Highness requests your presence. Meng Jian stepped into the cultivation courtyard. King An was dressed in a purple robe. He stood in the middle of the courtyard with his hands behind his back and looked at Meng Jian. A faint smile hung on his handsome face. His gaze was calm and his body exuded a peaceful aura. Meng Jian suspected that the person in front of him was not a royal highness, but a Buddhist monk. Meng Jian closed fist saluted. Meng Jian greets His Royal Highness. Young Master Meng, you don't have to be so courteous. You are not an outsider. Please take a seat. King An pointed at the stone table beside him. Yes, said Meng Jian. Both of them sat at the stone table. Su Ning stood not far away, motionless like a tree. Meng Jian glanced at Su Ning and felt strange. Su Ning was a disciple of the Titanium Temple. His status was not ordinary. How could he lower himself and call himself a scribe? His Royal Highness, I would like to ask how my brother died, said Meng Jian slowly. King An frowned. Are you sure he is dead? Meng Jian nodded. King An said, actually, he left the imperial residence on his own. I didn't let him leave the imperial residence. After that, there was no news of him. I sent people to investigate, but there were no clues. I really don't know what happened to him. It seems like he was killed. He sighed and shook his head. Meng Xi is a rare talent. He helped me a lot. What a pity. Meng Jian asked, did you have any enemies when you were alive? As the deputy commander of the imperial residence, it's inevitable for him to offend people. Kingen frowned and said, but if we're talking about enemies, they probably wouldn't go as far as to kill him. Does younger brother have an enemy? Asked Meng Jian. Princeton pondered for a moment and finally said, I really don't have any enemies. It's just some ordinary small matters. It's not worth it to fight to the death. Meng Jian replied, there must be some. Why don't your Royal Highness speak frankly? He had some conflicts with the chief steward of the mansion, but it was all official business. Princeton shook his head and said, it was also under my orders. I asked him to suppress the head chief, but he was taught a lesson by the head chief. Head chief? I would like to meet this head chief. Meng Jian furrowed his brows. Kingen looked at Su Ning. Su Ning pressed his palms together and bowed. Your Royal Highness, the head chief has been in isolated cultivation in the Secret Guardian's Hall for half a month now. Oh, he's now a secret guardian of the Imperial House. Kingen smiled. Young Master Meng, you mustn't offend him. Then I would like to wait for this chief steward in the manor. Of course you're welcome. Kingen smiled. With a master like you around, I can cultivate with peace of mind. As for the head chief, Su Ning, send someone to find out when the head chief will return to the residence. Your Royal Highness, I heard that the head chief is in isolated cultivation and won't see anyone. Su Ning pressed his palms together. That's true. The head chief never sees anyone when he's cultivating. Kingen nodded. Su Ning slowly said, the news from the Secret Guardians Hall is that the head chief has been imprisoned by the Secret Guardians Hall. It looks like he's in isolated cultivation, but he's actually grounded. Kingen frowned. Did he offend the Secret Guardians Hall again? The princess killed 2 secret guardians of the Imperial House. How can the Secret Guardians Hall be friendly to the head chief? Su Ning said, he's arrogant and presumptuous. With that temper of his, do you think he'll get anything good from the Secret Guardians Hall? Kingen scoffed. Meng Jian could hear Kingen's dissatisfaction towards the head chief. Meng Jian's mind raced, but his expression did not change. He calmly said, it's all right. I have nothing to do down the mountain anyway. I can take a stroll around the fairy's capital. You don't have to be restrained in the imperial residence. Just do as you please. If there's anything, just look for me. Kingen said, thank you, Your Royal Highness. Meng Jian said, it's not easy for the disciples of the Amethyst Mountain to leave the mountain. Young Master Meng must be a genius to be able to leave the mountain. I wonder what plans young Master Meng has. Kingen said slowly, I wanted to meet my brother first. I didn't expect him to meet with an accident. I'll avenge him first before anything else. Meng Jian said. Kingen eagerly said, how about coming to the imperial residence to help? Although I won't have as much freedom, it'll be easier to cultivate. You'll be able to come into contact with masters from all over the world in the fairy's capital. You'll be able to broaden your horizons, and it'll be beneficial to your cultivation. Thank you, Your Royal Highness. Meng Jian was a little surprised. He did not expect Kingen to recruit him so straightforwardly. Meng Jian, closed fist saluted and smiled. We'll talk about it after I've avenged myself. I have no other thoughts for now. All right. The Amethyst Mountain has always been mysterious. Once young Master Meng's identity is revealed, everyone will want to meet you. Kingen nodded. I'll keep my identity a secret, Meng Jian said. Kingen smiled. Meng Jian closed fist saluted. I'll take my leave now. I won't disturb your Royal Highness cultivation anymore. Good, good. When I'm out of seclusion, We'll have a good chat. King and closed fist saluted. Yes. Meng Jian stood up and left. Su Ning sent him out of the hospital. When he returned, he saw King En's joyful expression. King En smiled. Revered sir, he's suspicious of Chu Li, right? Yes. This person is stubborn and conceited. He won't let head chief Chu go. Su Ning nodded. No matter how smart Chu Li is, he won't know that I'll have such a plan. Speaking of killing with a borrowed knife, he still needs to practice. My technique is the true killing with a borrowed knife. It's invisible and traceless. Su Ning smiled faintly and declined to comment. He did not think that Chu Li was ignorant. Even if he knew, he would not dare to kill King and himself. The key was not King En. As long as the emperor was here, Chu Li would not dare to kill King En. He found it interesting. Would King En kill Chu Li, or would Chu Li kill King En in the end? To be able to witness this show, his trip to the imperial residence was not in vain. In the courtyard of the secret guardians' hall, Chu Li and Su Huanda were engaged in a verbal battle. Chu Li, I have a piece of news to tell you in advance. Just in case you're caught off guard, Su Huanda said. Thank you very much, Commander Su. Chu Li asked, what news? Meng Jian from the Amethyst Mountain has arrived at the fairy's capital. He'll probably enter the imperial residence of King En today. You should know how powerful a disciple from the Amethyst Mountain is, right? Chu Li raised his eyebrows. It's finally here. There are no two suns in the sky. You're the head chief with a high position and authority. However, in terms of martial arts, you might not be better than Meng Jian, Su Huanda said. Why do you think so? We'll only know after we fight, right? Chu Li asked. If a disciple from the Amethyst Mountain wants to descend the mountain, it's the same as the Titanium Temple. If Meng Jian could descend the mountain, of course, he possesses an antique martial art. You're not on good terms with King and will probably use him to deal with you. Chu Li smiled. Su Huanda said, when that time comes, the secret guardian's hall will be your shield. Chapter 454. Su Huanda scoffed. How is this profiteering from a burning house? A loyal subject can only be judged when he's in trouble. This is to let you understand who's on our side. The imperial residence isn't reliable, and the secret guardian's hall is the one you should rely on. Chu Li smiled. The imperial residence may not be reliable, but the secret guardian's hall may not be reliable either. As long as you're worthy of the secret guardian's hall, the secret guardian's hall will definitely be worthy of you. Su Huanda said coldly. It's said that being in the king's company is like being in the company of a tiger. Why has the secret guardian's hall been able to exist until now? It's all about unity. Chu Li shook his head disapprovingly. When Su Huanda saw that he was unmoved by persuasion or force, he said impatiently, You really don't know how to appreciate favors. If it weren't for your ability, would the secret guardian's hall have tolerated you until now? I've already thought of a way to deal with you. Chu Li smiled. Commander Su, I would like to know, in the fairy's capital, other than Meng Jian, is there anyone else from the Amethyst Mountain? Fairy's capital also has someone from Amethyst Mountain. Su Huanda said, Zhang Xi, the Imperial House High Official. How's your martial arts? Unfathomable. I didn't see him make a move. Looks like the martial arts of the Amethyst Mountain are indeed unique. If there's a chance, I'd like to experience it for myself. Humph, you better not have that chance. Su Huanda shook his head and said, Otherwise, it's hard to say whether you can live or not. How could the secret guardian's hall not have the martial arts of the Amethyst Mountain? Chu Li asked. Su Huanda said, No, even if there is, it's in the secret vault of the imperial house. It's not for us to see. What a pity. I will be careful when dealing with this Meng Jian, said Chu Li. Did you kill Meng Ji? Su Wanda suddenly asked. Chu Li was startled. He could not help but laugh. Commander Su, you're still concerned about this. If it's really you who killed them, then it'll be troublesome. Su Wanda said. If you didn't kill him, then you'll have to explain things clearly to Meng Jian to avoid going against him. Of the 4 major sects, other than the Titanium Temple, the rest are all the same. They can't bear to see their own disciples being taken advantage of. If the young ones are beaten, the old ones will come. Endless trouble. Chu Li nodded. All right, you can come out now. Let's wait a little longer. Maybe Meng Jian will leave on his own. Chu Li smiled. You're really up to no good. Su Wanda said snappily. You want to use the secret guardian's hall to deal with him, don't you? If Meng Jian grew impatient in the imperial residence, he might come to the secret guardian's hall to look for him. If that happened, the secret guardian's hall would have no choice but to deal with him for the sake of their own reputation. Chu Li laughed. Let's see if he dares to go against the secret guardian's hall. Chu Li, how about this? Su Wanda said. If you can find 2 disciples of the Holy Church of Light, we'll hand Meng Jian over to the secret guardian's hall. We'll think of a way to get rid of him. How about it? Chu Li shook his head. I'm really not confident. This was obviously a trap. If he really agreed to it, it would mean that he was confident in finding the disciples of the Holy Church of Light. If he had the confidence, but did not do it, he would naturally have ulterior motives. Fu Mengshan would then be able to find an excuse to force him to look for the disciples of the Holy Church of Light to prove his innocence. Compared to the Amethyst Mountain, he feared the Holy Church of Light more. They were a bunch of lunatics and unreasonable. No matter what, he had to deal with them after the eldest master's wedding. If he made a move now, the eldest master's wedding would most likely be over. You. Su Wanda pointed at him and shook his head. All right, it's up to you. Stay here if you wanna. Chu Li coughed lightly. Does that mean the secret guardian's hall has a way to get rid of Meng Jian? Su Wanda said, we'll just help him find Meng Ji's murderer. That's a good idea. Chu Li smiled. Since you're unwilling, there's no other way. If you really can't beat Meng Jian, you can come back for help. The secret guardian's hall will never leave our own people in the lurch. Su Wanda stood up. Chu Li smiled and nodded. He could feel Su Wanda's sincerity. Unfortunately, the secret guardian's hall's idea was not going to work. He could not agree to it and could only apologize to himself. Su Wanda's face was as cold as steel, but his thoughts were pure and impartial. He was unlike Commander Fu Mengshan, who had a warm smile and made people feel like they were bathing in the spring breeze. However, he was cold and emotionless and only cared about benefits. Meng Jian was dressed in white and sat quietly at the stone table in the courtyard, sipping tea. Beside him was a maid who was brewing tea. He sipped the tea and seemed to be deep in thought. Chief Zhu hurriedly entered the courtyard and closed fist saluted. Young Master Meng, did you rest well last night? Did you fail to entertain us? Meng Jian put down his tea and closed fist saluted. Very well. What did the princess say? Please forgive me, young Master Meng. The princess does not see guests, especially male guests. Chief Zhu looked awkward. His Royal Highness is in seclusion, and the princess does not see guests. Meng Jian smiled faintly. Chief Zhu said, if there really is an important guest, the head chief will personally appear. Young Master Meng is an important guest, but the head chief is also in seclusion. I'm really sorry. The princess also said that she has neglected you. Please forgive her, young Master Meng. It is inconvenient for her to meet you because you are a male guest. Hee, how interesting. I heard that the princess is the second young lady of the Yi public house and is considered a daughter of the martial arts world. Yet, She still maintains the etiquette between men and women. Meng Jian's smile widened. Chief Zhu quickly said, "The princess does not know martial arts. She does not show her face in the High Duke's public house." "I see. I have been rash," Meng Jian said. "When the head chief returns from seclusion, he will definitely see young Master Meng." Chief Zhu quickly smiled. "Then I shall wait." "Chief Zhu, please don't blame me for disturbing you." Meng Jian smiled. "Not at all, not at all. Young Master Meng can stay in the imperial residence. I'm old. I can't be happier without the head chief around. I always feel that the imperial residence's protectors are not reassuring. It's so much better with young Master Meng around. Is the imperial residence not peaceful?" Meng Jian slowly raised his teacup and took a sip. "Yes, there are always people who want to assassinate the princess. The princess is so gentle and beautiful. These people can really do it," Chief Zhu said hatefully. "Gentle and beautiful." Meng Jian smiled. "Chief Zhu, Lady Lu is here. She wants to see the princess." Someone reported from outside. "All right, I'll go now," Chief Zhu quickly said. Meng Jian said, "Lady Lu? She must be someone important to be able to see the princess. The eldest young lady of the Run public house. Young Master Meng, I have to excuse myself for a while. This is my duty, and I can't help myself. So it's Lady Lu from the Run public house. I want to meet this Lady Lu too. I'll go with you." Meng Jian smiled. I'm afraid it's not polite." Chief Zhu hesitated and smiled bitterly. "Just treat it as a coincidence. I heard that this Lady Lu is shockingly beautiful. She is not inferior to the princess," Meng Jian said. "All right," Chief Zhu reluctantly agreed. Meng Jian said, "You go first. I'll go later." All right, Chief Zhu smiled bitterly and nodded. He left in a hurry. When he ran outside, Lu Yurong had already entered the residence. Her face was covered with a white veil, and she wore a bluish-white gown. She walked as if she was walking on water, graceful and elegant. Lung Ying and two maids followed beside her. Lu Yurong saw him, rushing over, and said, "Old Master Meng, what's the rush?" Chapter 4:55. "That's enough." Lu Yurong waved her hand and said lightly, "Is the princess awake?" "The princess is taking a stroll," Chief Zhu answered. Lu Yurong nodded lightly. Her steps were graceful, like a willow in the wind. Lung Ying asked, "Where's the head chief? Is he still in seclusion?" Chief Zhu answered, "Not yet." "How long is he going to be in seclusion?" Lung Ying pouted. Chief Zhu smiled bitterly. "How would we know what the head chief is thinking?" Lung Ying said, "I think he just wants to slack off." Lu Yurong chuckled. "Xiao Ying is right. He's just slacking off. He thinks that there are too many things to do in the imperial residence, and that it disturbs his training. Now, he's thrown everything away and gone into seclusion. His martial arts must have improved by another level." Chief Zhu's smile became even more bitter. "That's because the residence has been quiet recently. If something really happened and the head chief was not around, it would be a mess." "Oh, right. Young Master Meng Jian came to the residence yesterday and wants to see the head chief." "Meng Jian? He came?" Lu Yurong raised her brows. "Yes, young Master Meng also wants to see the princess." "The princess does not want to see him," Chief Zhu said quietly. "That temper of hers. He is a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain after all. How can she not see him?" "Yes," Chief Zhu nodded. "Amethyst Mountain? The Amethyst Mountain of the four major sects?" Lung Ying asked curiously. Yes, Chief Zhu nodded. Lung Ying said she should see him. Chief Zhu sighed. The princess will not go back on her words. As scribes, we will not be able to change her mind. Lady Lu and Lady Ying, please persuade her. I don't care about these things. Did you receive some benefits from him? Lu Yurong glanced at him. Ouch, I am innocent. Lady Lu, I just feel that the princess' actions are too offensive. Young Master Meng's identity is not normal. He cannot be offended like this. Chief Zhu cried. You really have the time to worry. Xiao sure is not an idiot. Lu Yurong smiled. Chief Zhu quickly said, Yes, I am being a busybody. The 5 of them walked on the cobbled path, and there was a turn in front of them. As soon as they turned the corner, they saw a handsome young man in a blue robe walking with his hands behind his back. His pace was slow and calm, and his expression was calm. Young Master Meng, Chief Zhu hurriedly said. Meng, Ji closed fist saluted. He calmly looked at Lu Yurong's face and nodded lightly. Lady Lu, this is young Master Meng Jian, a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. Chief Zhu quickly introduced. Lu Yurong glared at Chief Zhu. Chief Zhu quickly smiled apologetically. Miss Lu, Meng Jian greets you. Meng Jian closed fist saluted and smiled at Lung Ying. Lung Ying curtsied back. Lu Yurong said, Master Meng, what a coincidence. She had seen through Meng Jian's ploy in one glance and was displeased. Meng Jian smiled and said, I have long heard of Lady Lu's great name and specially waited here. Please forgive my impetuousness. Lady Lu. Seeing that he was being honest, Lu Yurong nodded slightly. It's just a lowly name. It's not worth mentioning. May I know why young Master Meng is here? I originally wanted to visit my younger brother, but I didn't expect him to be gone. Meng Jian sighed and looked sad. He sighed melancholically. We brothers haven't seen each other for 10 years, but we're already separated forever. Lu Yurong said, My condolences, young Master Meng. As a member of the martial arts world, it's inevitable. Yes, Meng Jian slowly said. As his elder brother, I have to avenge him to comfort his soul in heaven. Young Master Meng, please take your time to investigate. I'll take my leave first. She left gracefully, and Lung Ying quickly followed. Before entering the moon gate, she turned her head to take a look. Cousin sister, he's still staring at you. He must be infatuated with you. Lung Ying laughed softly. Lu Yurong said, I'm wearing a veil. He can't see my face clearly. What nonsense. You didn't see his gaze. He's definitely interested in you, cousin sister. I think he's stronger than head Chief Chu. Oh, in what way? Lu Yurong laughed. Look at how gentle and refined he is. He's not arrogant just because he's a disciple of a noble family. Lung Ying wrinkled her nose and scoffed. He's not as arrogant as Chu Li. She always had a grudge against Chu Li and would take the opportunity to insult him. Lu Yurong shook her head and smiled. Your eyes. What do you think, cousin sister? Is he not as good as Chu Li? Lung Ying asked. You can't judge a person by their appearance. Lu Yurong said, He looks gentle and refined, but deep in his bones he is arrogant and looks down on everyone in the world. Is that so? But he's a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. He has the right to be arrogant, right? Lung Ying was surprised. He's a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain, but is a disciple from the 4 major sects the number 1 in the world? Not necessarily. Lu Yurong said, That's true. Lung Ying trusted her cousin and smiled. He's definitely here to cause trouble for Chu Li. 2 fierce beasts in the same mountain, they're bound to fight, right? She pursed her lips and smiled. Now, that's interesting. Chu Li should be taught a lesson. Lu Yurong kept walking. That's not necessarily true. They can't fight. Lung Ying asked. Lu Yurong said, Chu Li might not be taught a lesson. All right, we're here. Chief Zhu pretended to be deaf and did not say a word. He sighed in relief when he saw the Tianshu courtyard. He closed fist saluted and left. Seo Shur was wearing a white robe. She was strolling in the courtyard. Her bright eyes looked at the sky from time to time, as if she was deep in thought. Xue Ling and Yang Su stood at the side, serving tea and snacks. They did not know what Seo Shur was doing. Seeing Lu Yurong and Yang Su came in, Seo Shur said, "What are you here for again?" Lu Yurong did not hold back. "When is Chuli coming back?" "How would I know?" Seo Shur said. Lu Yurong waved her hand, indicating that Xue Ling and Yang Su did not have to be so polite. She came to the stone table and sat down. "I want to settle the score. With Chuli, did he trick you again? Or do you want to trick him again?" Seo Shur said, "He borrowed a master from me. One of them is heavily injured and needs to rest for a month. I'm here to ask him how he wants to compensate me." Lu Yurong scoffed. "How do you want to compensate him?" Seo Shur asked. Lu Yurong said, "Follow me to the High Duke's public house, a disciple of the Holy Church of Light." "He has agreed," Seo Shur said. Lu Yurong shook her head. "Two, either one, or he has to find a way to heal that person's injuries within 3 days. These are the only two conditions. Pick one, and you can't change it." Seo Shur said, "He can really come back." Lu Yurong scoffed. She knew Chu Li's light body technique. She did not believe that he could be trapped by the secret guardian's hall. Seo Shur said, "You don't have to worry about this. Have a safe trip. I won't be seeing you out." "What about Meng Jian? This is a big problem. The Amethyst Mountain." Lu Yurong said, "You have a way." Seo Shur frowned at her. Chapter 456. "What way?" scoffed Seo Shur. She regretted it as soon as she asked. It was a waste of time. It would be weird if Lu Yurong would tell her. Lu Yurong smiled. "From what I know, Meng Jian has opponents too." Seo Shur looked at her. "Are you that kind?" "2. I only need 2, and I can get rid of Meng Jian." Lu Yurong smiled. "You don't have that many in your residence. You think too highly of yourself," scoffed Seo Shur. Lu Yurong said, "Not the Holy Church of Light. Anything else will do." "All right, I promise you. Think of a way to get rid of Meng Jian so he won't be an annoyance in the residence," said Seo Shur. Lu Yurong said, "You should know that this is just a temporary solution. He will still find Chu Li in the end." Seo Shur said, "Once he has a firm foothold in the secret guardian's hall, Meng Jian will be nothing." "That's true." Lu Yurong nodded and sighed. "I didn't expect Second Lady Seo to be so smart and powerful. Chu Li's position in the secret guardian's hall would be awkward, but it was also an opportunity. Once he has a firm foothold, he would have the help of the secret guardian's hall, and it would be like adding wings to a tiger. If this was Seo Shur's plan, then she would have to admit defeat." "Same here," said Seo Shur. She was just going with the flow. The situation had developed this way, and the emperor's decision was out of her expectations. Lung Ying looked at Lu Yurong and Seo Shur and pouted. Compared to them, she was a fool. She could not understand what they were saying. It was as if they were talking in riddles. "Let's go." Lu Yurong turned and left. Seo Shur waved her hand. Xue Ling and Yang Su nodded and sent them out of the Tianshu courtyard all the way to the entrance of the imperial residence. On their way back to the Tianshu courtyard, Meng Jian suddenly appeared and blocked their way. He closed fist saluted with a handsome smile. "Are the two ladies the consort's maids?" "Yes, who are you?" asked Yang Su gently. Meng Jian smiled. "I am Meng Jian. I would like to see the consort. I hope the two ladies can help me." Yang Su was stunned and shook her head. "Young Master Meng, the consort does not see male guests. Is there something you need?" We can pass on the message to Wang Fei. Very well, I would like to meet Chief Chu, said Meng Jian. That's unfortunate. Yang Su shook her head and smiled. The head chief is currently in isolated cultivation at the Secret Guardians Hall. Young master, you can try going to the Secret Guardians Hall. Meng Jian's burning gaze swept across the two ladies as if he could see through their hearts. I wonder when Chief Chu will come out of seclusion? How would we know as maids? Yang Su smiled and said, the head chief isn't sure either. It could be a month, or it could be 2 months. It depends on the situation of his cultivation. Thank you very much. Meng Jian smiled. Yang Su smiled and said, Young Master Meng, you don't have to be so polite. Meng Jian watched as the two girls disappeared into the moon gate. The smile on his face disappeared and was replaced with a cold smile. He had the secret skill of Amethyst Mountain. At night, he would appear silently outside the house of the maidservants and imperial guards. He would eavesdrop on the corners of the walls and gather information. Through everyone's private discussions, he already knew that before his brother left the imperial residence, he seemed to have poisoned the Wang Fei and almost killed her. Since his brother had done such a thing, he naturally had to escape and sneak out of the imperial residence. Unfortunately, in the end, he could not escape from the Wang Fei and was killed by her. No matter how beautiful Princess Xiao was, she was the first beauty of the great Ji dynasty. Since she killed his brother, he had to kill her to avenge his brother. Unfortunately, Chu Li did not return. He did not have to guess much to know that since it was Princess Xiao's assassination, the one who executed it must be Chu Li, the most loyal lackey. If he wanted to comfort his brother's soul in heaven, he would kill both of them. As for the fact that Chu Li's martial arts was powerful, he did not think much of it. From his perspective, the 4 major sects and the martial arts world were not on the same level. The key was martial arts. The martial arts of the 4 major sects were worlds apart from the rest of the sections. Cultivating the martial arts of the 4 major sects would allow one to ascend to the enlightened mastery's boundary. As for the other sects in the martial arts world, becoming a grandmaster was already considered extremely lucky. The grandmaster was only the starting point of the 4 major sects, martial arts. It only existed for the sake of becoming an enlightened master. Chu Li was born in the public house and cultivated the martial arts of the public house. No matter how powerful the public house was, it could not compare to the 4 major sections. Even if they could steal the martial arts of the 4 major sects, they would not be able to cultivate it well. Chu Li's fame today was mostly due to his intelligence and his ability to do things. Furthermore, he was young. The same martial arts on an elder would not be as impressive. He paced with his hands behind his back and slowly returned to the courtyard. He had some concerns about the Secret Guardians Hall. It was not a wise move to go there to kill people. Provoking the Secret Guardians Hall would be asking for trouble. He slowly sat by the stone table and smiled. Seeing the 2 women, he knew the location of the Tianshu courtyard. He would go explore at night to see if there was a chance to kill Xiao Shi and lure Chu Li out. After killing Chu Li, he would leave the fairy's capital and live a carefree life. Princeton was rather afraid of Chu Li and had the intention to kill him. If he killed him, it would be in line with his wishes. He might not really send people to kill him, it would just be for show. After all, he was born in the Amethyst Mountain. It was a pity for Princess Xiao, the first beauty of the great Ji dynasty. He wondered how Princess Xiao compared to Lu Yurong. Although he could not see Lu Yurong's face clearly looking at her graceful figure and alluring eyes, he knew that she was an absolute beauty. She had a cold, fairy-like temperament that was especially attractive to him. If he could bring her into his room, his 10 years of hard work in the Amethyst Mountain would not be in vain. Tonight, he wanted to see the beauty of Princess Seo. He wanted to see how beautiful the first beauty of the great Ji dynasty was. As he was lost in his thoughts, footsteps came from outside. Chief Ju's voice was heard. "Young Master Meng, a master wishes to see you." "Master?" Meng Jian frowned. When he heard the word monk, he immediately thought of the Tempest Temple. He asked, "Which sect is the monk from?" "The Tempest Temple," answered Chief Ju respectfully. "I won't see him," said Meng Jian. "Amipa Buddha." A Buddhist chant was heard. It was calm and leisurely, like a lake that slowly spread out and echoed throughout the entire imperial residence. "Almsgiver Meng, we meet again. F.A. Wu, you're haunting me." Meng Jian said coldly. A young monk in a gray robe fluttered into the courtyard. He pressed his palms together and bowed. "Almsgiver Meng, you've made it easy for me to find you." This monk in gray was about 20 years old. He was tall and straight with an average appearance. However, his nose was tall and straight, which added a sense of heroism to his average face. It was unforgettable. His eyes were calm and gentle, and he wore a faint smile. "F.A. Wu, why must you make things difficult for me? I've always given face to the Tempest Temple and did not lower myself to your level. Don't be so ungrateful," Meng Jian said. "I've reached a bottleneck and would like to spar with a master of equal strength." F.A. Wu smiled and said, "Benefactor Meng's martial arts are on par with this little monk's. It is the most suitable. This kind of sparring is not only beneficial to this little monk, but Benefactor Meng will also benefit from it. Why not? I'm not interested in fighting with you. If you don't leave, I'll have no choice but to use my trump card." Chapter 4:57. Meng Jian's face darkened as he stared at him coldly. F.A. Wu's smile did not diminish. "Why is Almsgiver Meng staying in the imperial residence of King An? I want to kill someone," Meng Jian said in a low voice. "Amipa Buddha." F.A. Wu placed his palms together and chanted the name of Buddha. He showed a compassionate expression and shook his head. Sins. Mortals suffer so much. Why must they commit such sins? They cannot be freed in the next life. Don't give me that. He killed my younger brother. How can I not avenge him?" Meng Jian waved his hand impatiently. "Revenge breeds revenge. When will it end? Why don't you take a step back? He killed your younger brother. There will be a calamity waiting for him. Isn't it better to watch him receive his retribution and not be tainted by karma?" F.A. Wu sighed. "I don't have that patience. Besides, I don't believe in your tricks. Karma? Anyway, don't provoke me. After I have my revenge, we can spar. Who does Almsgiver Meng want to kill?" F.A. Wu asked. Meng Jian stared at him cautiously. "Why, you want to stop me? I will help that almsgiver redeem his soul. Let him return to the cycle of reincarnation and not suffer the pain of loneliness." F.A. Wu said, "Humph, hypocritical mercy. Your Tempest Temple is the most vicious. You even chant scriptures and worship Buddha all day long." Meng Jian said coldly. F.A. Wu shook his head and sighed. "Almsgiver Meng has misunderstood my temple. My temple only kills to subdue demons and end karma. If I don't go to hell, who will? Forget it." Meng Jian curled his lips in disdain. He understood the Tempest Temple's viciousness the best. Among the 4 major sects, the Tempest Temple was the most overbearing and could not tolerate any disobedience. "Right, Almsgiver Meng has not said which almsgiver you want to kill. Chu Li, the head chief of King An's imperial residence. Have you heard of this name? Almsgiver Chu Li from the public house?" F.A. Wu pressed his palms together. Meng Jian nodded slowly. F.A. Wu looked at Meng Jian in shock. Meng Jian felt goosebumps from his stare and scoffed. What are you looking at? Almsgiver Meng, you want to kill Almsgiver Chu Li from the Yi public house? Fa? Wu asked slowly. He enunciated every word clearly, as if he was afraid that Meng Jian could not hear him clearly. He stared at him seriously. That's right. Meng Jian frowned. What's wrong? Could it be that you've also heard of his name? Almsgiver Meng. Fa? Wu shook his head and sighed. I advise Almsgiver Meng to turn his hostility into peace. Forget it. He killed my brother. Meng Jian said coldly, You must be joking. Forget it. I'm already being merciful by killing him so quickly. Fa? Wu sighed. Benefactor Meng, you can't kill Benefactor Chu. You know him too? Scoffed Meng Jian. Fa? Wu said, I have a senior apprentice brother. His talent is unparalleled. He is the #1 in the Fa generation. Fa Yuan, right? I heard he's extremely powerful, said Meng Jian. Yes. Fa Wu pressed his palms together and bowed. Senior brother Fa Yuan and I are worlds apart. I cannot catch up to you. If there's a chance, I'd like to see it for myself, said Meng Jian. Fa Wu said, I couldn't even withstand a single blow from senior brother Fa Yuan. Almsgiver Meng couldn't either. It can't be. Is Fa Yuan really that powerful? You can't even withstand a single blow? How could he be that powerful? A monk does not lie. Almsgiver Meng couldn't defeat my senior brother Fa Yuan either, said Fa Wu slowly. Humph, that might not be the case. He's familiar with your martial arts, but not me, said Meng Jian, unconvinced. Senior brother Fa Yuan's talent is unparalleled, and he was born with wisdom. No matter how profound the martial arts, he could learn at the moment he learned it and master it. He's like a celestial being. We're all geniuses of the secular world. We can't compare to senior brother Fa Yuan. Meng Jian was even more unconvinced. If he could break out of the Amethyst Mountain, it meant that he could move freely in the world and would not be in danger. No matter how powerful Fa Yuan was, he could not be stronger than the seniors and uncles of the Amethyst Mountain. Fa Wu said, Senior brother Fa Yuan had chased after Almsgiver Chu several times and returned empty-handed. The temple has now given up on pursuing him. You mean to say that the one with the surname Chu is stronger than Fa Yuan? Meng Jian frowned and stared at Fa Wu. Fa Wu slowly nodded. Impossible. He cultivated the martial arts of the High Duke's public house, scoffed Meng Jian. Even if the martial arts he cultivated were not top-notch, he could unleash a powerful force. The gap between us and Almsgiver Chu is too big. I advise Almsgiver Meng not to humiliate yourself, said Fa Wu. You'll only know after you try, said Meng Jian coldly. He was already hesitating. Fa Wu would not lie to him. He had heard of Fa Yuan's reputation. He was known as a genius that appeared once in 100 years, the first master of the Tempest Temple. At such a young age, he had already cultivated several unique studies of the Tempest Temple. It was hard to believe that Fa Yuan could not defeat Chu Li. Fa Wu, let's work together and kill him. Didn't the Tempest Temple want to kill him? Scoffed Meng Jian. I don't want to kill him now. Fa Wu shook his head. Meng Jian frowned. That's because we can't kill him. If we work together, we can definitely kill him. Fa Wu laughed and shook his head. Almsgiver Meng, you've been blinded by hatred. Senior brother Fa Yuan didn't chase after Almsgiver Chu alone. He brought along several senior brothers from the Exorcist Academy. Even they couldn't kill him. So how could the two of us do it? I advise Almsgiver Meng to repent and stop being so stubborn. Even this can't kill him. Meng Jian pondered. Fa Wu thought that he had dispelled Meng Jian's murderous intent and smiled. You can only be at ease if you let go of your hatred. Almsgiver Meng, you should let it go and put it down. Meng Jian laughed coldly. Since you can't kill him, then forget it. Fa Wu, I'm not in the mood to spar with you. Let's do it another day. Today is just right. Come on. Fa Wu said. Meng Jian said, if you really want to fight, I'll run. Where do you think you're going? Fa Wu pushed out his palm as soon as he finished speaking. An invisible force surged forth like a huge wave. Meng Jian's figure turned into an illusory shadow and disappeared in front of Fa Wu. Fa Wu gave chase. The two of them, one chasing and the other escaping, disappeared from the imperial residence of King and in the blink of an eye. When evening came, Meng Jian returned to the courtyard of the imperial residence of King and with a gloomy expression. After spending a day, he finally got rid of Fa Wu. This stupid monk was extremely tenacious and had a profound cultivation level. How annoying! There were countless times when he had a strong urge to use his trump card, but in the end, he restrained himself. This trump card was left for Xiao Shi. If Chu Li appeared, he would give it to him. He could not waste it on Fa Wu. As the night gradually approached, Meng Jian sat in the courtyard and watched as the night deepened. His heart became more and more restrained. The surging murderous intent was completely contained in his heart. Not a single trace of it was leaked out. As the night deepened, Meng Jian's figure became fainter and fainter. Gradually, it was as if he had turned into a shadow. His entire person disappeared, leaving only a faint swaying shadow. It was very strange. The Phantom skill was a unique secret skill of the Amethyst Mountain. It was similar to light body technique, but it was a level higher. It could turn into a shadow that could not be seen from the outside. With this skill, Meng Jian was most proficient in the art of assassination. Chapter 458. As the night deepened, he turned into a shadow and slowly floated out of the courtyard. He did not make a sound and did not alert the protectors outside. With this secret skill, he could come and go as he pleased. The heavily guarded imperial residence was like his backyard, as if he was walking on flat ground. As long as he wanted to, he could eavesdrop on anyone's house and obtain secret information. That was why he got the gist of what happened overnight and found what he wanted to know. The Tianshu courtyard was completely quiet. A bright moon hung in the sky, emitting a hazy glow. The surroundings seemed to be covered by a layer of light sand. Meng Jian turned into a shadow and slowly moved from the bottom of the wall into the courtyard. He saw that there were a total of 3 protectors around him, and there were another 4 not far away. 7 grandmasters. The security was tight, and he only had one chance to attack. If he failed, the protectors would rush over to protect Xiao Shi. Even if he could defeat them, he would have missed the chance to kill Xiao Shi. As he entered the Tianshu courtyard, his aura became more obscure. His murderous intent was hidden deep in his heart. A grandmaster's spiritual sense was sharp. If there was a murderous intent, even if they could not see him, they would be able to sense it and take precautions. Fortunately, the Amethyst Mountain's technique was superb, and his secret skill was exquisite. He arrived at the courtyard without any obstructions. His next step was to rush into the house and kill Chu Li in one strike. Then he would be able to complete his mission, and his brother's soul in heaven would be able to rest in peace. He slowly emptied his thoughts and calmed his heart. He focused on the bedroom in the main house and slowly approached along the shadow in the corner. "Who is it?" Suddenly, a clear shout was heard. A snow-white silhouette suddenly appeared outside the main house and blocked the door. Xue Ling wore a moon-white undergarment. Her bright eyes shone brightly. Her shout instantly broke the silence of the Tianshu courtyard. Meng Jian was about to rush into the bedroom when he heard her shout. Without hesitation, he turned into a shadow and rushed towards the bedroom window. Xue Ling had always been under Chu Li's intentional training. Her spiritual force was far stronger than the average grandmaster's. Although she did not see the silhouette clearly, she faintly felt that something was wrong. She moved to the window and blocked it with her right hand. Bam! Meng Jian's silhouette swayed like ripples in a lake. Xue Ling flew backward. When she saw the shadow clearly, she could not care less about her internal organs. She shouted, "There's an assassin!" Meng Jian once again reverted to his shadow form. He was furious. This little girl had ruined his plans. His body swayed, and he silently approached Xue Ling. Without a sound, he struck her with his palm. He had decided to kill this talkative little girl, first to relieve the hatred in his heart. If he couldn't kill Xiao Shi tonight, then he would do it tomorrow night. She wouldn't be able to escape anyway, so it was impossible for her to hide outside the imperial residence. Xue Ling's delicate body moved to the side, barely avoiding the palm. Humph! Meng Jian frowned, his murderous intent surging. This little girl could actually sense him. He had to get rid of her. He was surprised that a mere innate master could see through his phantom technique. His anger surged, and his killing intent intensified. He was determined to kill her. Once again, Xue Ling moved sideways to avoid another palm strike. To outsiders, Meng Jian's attack looked like a palm energy that appeared out of thin air. It was abrupt and strange, like a ghost, sending chills down their spines. Lu Xing and the other two were the fastest and had already floated to the courtyard. They saw that Xue Ling was avoiding the palm energy and knew that she had some special skills. Lu Xing quickly said, "You two go and guard the princess door. I'll help Miss Xue Ling." As he finished speaking, he crouched down and picked up a few petals from the ground, throwing them towards Xue Ling's direction. The petals shot towards Xue Ling like arrows. When they were 1 meter away from Xue Ling, the petals suddenly met with an obstacle. Lu Xing's body was like a stream of light, appearing in front of Xue Ling in a flash. His fist was like a meteor striking towards Meng Jian. Bam! Lu Xing took a step back. Meng Jian was also stunned and frowned. This guy had such a cultivation level at such a young age. Could he be from one of the 4 major sects? But it did not seem like it. Lu Xing thought to himself that this assassin was difficult to deal with. He could only fight with his life on the line. Xue Ling was not only the princess maid, but also the head chief's maid. She was deeply loved by the head chief. If anything were to happen to her, he would not have a good ending. He looked around but found nothing. He could not see anything. He was a grand master with sharp senses. However, he could only sense danger to himself and foresee it. He could not sense danger to others. Xue Ling spat out a mouthful of blood, and her face became paler. "Miss Xue Ling, are you all right?" Lu Xing hurriedly asked. Xue Ling shook her head. "Guard the lady carefully," Lu Xing said. "With the 2 of them here, he won't be able to enter." Xue Ling suddenly dodged to the side. Her face was grazed by a palm, and a long gash appeared on her fair and tender face. Blood gushed out like a fountain. She pushed out her palm, and with a bam, she flew out again. In midair, she waved her palm again. Bam! Her body flew out faster and spat out a mouthful of blood in midair. She hit the wall heavily and was almost embedded in the wall, unable to move. Lu Xing was furious and shouted, "Coward, hiding your head, but showing your tail. Come out if you have the guts. Don't ambush me." Bam! Xiang Feishue, who was guarding outside the bedroom window, was sent flying. Lu Xing hurriedly shouted, "Be careful, princess!" Bam! A muffled sound was heard, and a white shadow flashed by. There seemed to be a shadow outside the window, swaying twice, like ripples on water. Lu Yurong appeared outside the bedroom window in a moon-white gown. Her face was covered by a white veil, and her gown and robe were fluttering. Her eyes were as clear as the autumn waters. Is this the phantom skill of the Amethyst Mountain? Lu Yurong retracted her palm and stood with her hands behind her back. Her white gown fluttered like a fairy under the moon. Why is it you? Isn't Lady Lu their enemy? Meng Jian's figure appeared out of thin air and frowned. Lu Yurong said lightly, "Young Master Meng, you want to assassinate Xiao Shi. Have you thought about the consequences? Kill her and avenge my brother. Even if she is the princess, she still has to die." Meng Jian scoffed coldly, as expected of a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. "You talk big." Lu Yurong shook her head. "You can't kill Xiao Shi. Moreover, if you really did kill her, would Chu Li forgive you? So what?" Meng Jian scoffed in disdain. "I am not my brother. If he dares to kill me, he will have to face the endless pursuit of the Amethyst Mountain. I don't think he has the guts. With me here, you better back off." Lu Yurong sighed to herself. Another idiot. He thought that just by relying on the name of the Amethyst Mountain, he would be unimpeded and everything would be fine. Meng Jian's martial arts was not bad. He had a good demeanor and was also a little scheming. Unfortunately, his personality was stubborn and impulsive. His actions were easily affected by his emotions. If it was someone else with more sense, they would not have tangled with Xue Ling. Killing Xiao Shi was the priority. However, he was controlled by his anger and went against Xue Ling. More importantly, he was not good at controlling his anger. If he met someone like Chu Li, he would definitely be finished. "Lady Lu, you want to help Chu Li?" Meng Jian asked coldly. "Yes." Lu Yurong nodded. Meng Jian's handsome face was filled with anger. He dispelled the phantom skill and showed himself because he admired Lu Yurong. He liked her the moment he saw her. What he liked was not her looks, but her unique aura. She was like a magnet that attracted him. He wanted to embrace her and make her his. Hearing that Lu Yurong wanted to help Chu Li, Meng Jian was jealous and angry. "Why are you helping him?" "Nothing," Lu Yurong said lightly. She could not possibly say that she wanted Chu Li to owe her a favor in exchange. Meng Jian laughed coldly. "All right, you chose your own path. Don't blame me for being heartless." His love and possessiveness suddenly turned into hatred and a desire to destroy. Since he could not have her, then Chu Li should not even think about having her. Rumble. There seemed to be a faint sound of thunder in the night sky. The sound was so weak that it was almost ignored. If it were not for Lu Yurong's sharper senses, she would not have heard the faint rumble of thunder. Meng Jian turned into a flash of light and instantly appeared in front of Lu Yurong. He pressed his palm down. Chapter 459. She took a step back lightly. A ray of light fell from the sky and landed on her. Her face was like white jade, and her body emitted a warm glow. The smell of smoke and fire immediately faded, and her white robe fluttered like a fairy. Meng Jian caught up with her, his palm glowing with a purple glow. Lu Yurong's limpid eyes became emotionless, calm, and cold. She looked at him as if she was looking at an inanimate object. Her hand that looked like it was carved out of white jade gently moved forward. Rumble! A muffled sound rang out like a spring thunder. Everyone was stunned. Lu Yurong calmly stood on the spot. Her white robe fluttered as if she was standing in the wind. Meng Jian, however, slammed into the wall with a bang. There was blood at the corner of his mouth. He looked at Lu Yurong in disbelief. His eyes were wide open, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. He never thought that Lu Yurong would be able to block this attack of his. This was the Shadow Thunder Palm. Using the human body as heaven and earth, it contained the thunder of heaven and earth within the body. Thunder and yang were strong and powerful, able to destroy everything. If this palm of his landed, there was no chance of survival for the human body. Lu Yurong calmly glanced at him and immediately appeared in front of him. Her white, jade-like hand pressed forward again. Meng Jian suddenly flashed and disappeared from the wall again. Lu Yurong's palm hit thin air. She glanced at him and scoffed. "You're asking for it." TSS, a flash of lightning flew, like a meteor, and instantly drilled into the wall. Meng Jian's figure suddenly appeared. He clutched the left side of his chest. There was a flying dagger in his chest. He stared at Chu Li, who was floating down. Chu Li's white robe fluttered as he nodded at Lu Yurong. He looked at Xue Ling, who was embedded in the wall, unmoving and unconscious. There was a gash on Xue Ling's face. Her face was as white as paper, and her brows were furrowed. Even though she was unconscious, she still felt pain. Seeing this, Chu Li's murderous intent surged. He said, "Meng Jian, you are Chu Li." Meng Jian stared at him coldly and looked at Lu Yurong. Lu Yurong was looking at Chu Li. In Meng Jian's eyes, Lu Yurong was looking at Chu Li lovingly. His heart was filled with jealousy. He gritted his teeth and scoffed. "I am Meng Ji's brother, Meng Jian." Chu Li looked at him calmly. "I don't care who you are. Since you came to Tianshu courtyard to assassinate me, you must die." With a flick of his hand, another beam of light shot out. Chi, Meng Jian was unable to dodge at such a short distance. His body swayed and seemed to become a little more ethereal, turning into a shadow. The flying knife pierced through the shadow with a splash of blood. Meng Jian disappeared once again, merging with the shadows. Chu Li sighed to himself. This secret skill of his was indeed strange. It could turn one's body into an intangible form. It was miraculous and beyond the imagination of ordinary people. 2 more flying daggers appeared in his hands, and he threw them out. Chi, swoosh. 2 flying daggers hit Meng Jian. Meng Jian gritted his teeth and left the courtyard without a word, disappearing into the night. Chu Li ignored him. He helped Xue Ling down and fed her a pill. Spiritual energy from all directions seeped into Xue Ling's body, healing her injuries. Soon, Xue Ling woke up. Xiao opened the door. Her beautiful face was cold. Her limpid eyes scanned the courtyard. "Why is it so lively?" She had woken up a long time ago and was moved to his courtyard by Chu Li. She had just returned. Chu Li said, "My lady, you should go back first. There's nothing here." Xiao glared at him and looked at Xue Ling. "Is Xue Ling all right?" Chu Li replied, "Her injuries are not serious. She will recover in a few days." Xiao frowned. She knew how powerful Chu Li's healing abilities were. It would take a few days to recover. It seemed that Xueling's injuries were serious. Xiao sure looked at Lu Yurong. You came to? Lu Yurong said, I didn't expect this Meng Jian to have some real skills. Your injuries need to be treated soon, too. That palm of his is not small. Chu Li said, I'll make a move first. Lu Yurong nodded. She fluttered up and flew back to the Moon Palace like a fairy under the moonlight. Head Chief, should we go after them? Lu Xing asked. Chu Li shook his head. There's no need. Everyone, go back to your own business. Yes. Lu Xing and the other two tactfully said their goodbyes and returned to their original positions. Chu Li carried Xueling into the house and placed her on the low couch. Xiao sure frowned. Is she really all right? The wound on her face will probably disfigure her. Chu Li took out a porcelain bottle. Apply this ointment on her. The scar will be gone in 2 days. Let her rest first. She will be fine in 2 days. I'm going out for a while. Are you going to kill Meng Jian? Xiao sure asked. Chu Li nodded. This guy is a scourge. We have to get rid of him, or else he will come to assassinate us at any time. It will be impossible to guard against him. If he and Xueling were not here this time, Meng Jian would have succeeded. Thinking of this, he felt a lingering fear. The Amethyst Mountain's secret technique was strange and shocking. It was a secret technique for assassination. It was not difficult to even assassinate a grandmaster. Lu Xing and the others were not just decorations. If it was not for this secret technique, how could they not have felt it? It was no wonder Meng Jian was so arrogant. He is a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. If we really kill him, there will be endless trouble. Xiao sure frowned, her beautiful face showing a hint of worry. Chu Li smiled. This secret technique is suitable for use at night. It won't work in the day. Don't worry, he can't kill me. First, it was the Holy Church of Light. Now it's the Amethyst Mountain. Xiao sure shook her head. His ability to stir up trouble was unparalleled. He had provoked almost all 4 major sections. If he really killed Meng Jian, the Amethyst Mountain would not let it go. Chu Li smiled. If we don't get rid of this person, we will never have peace. There's no other way but to kill him. I'll go first. Up to you. Xiao sure knew that persuading him was useless. Moreover, what he said made sense. If he really let Meng Jian go, he would not be grateful. Instead, he would try to assassinate him even more. He might be able to avoid it once, but he might not be able to avoid it twice or thrice. He would never let go of the hatred of his brother's murder. He would not rest until he was dead. Rather than dying, it was better for him to die. Lu Yurong floated like a fairy. She stepped lightly on the rooftops. The moonlight shone on her body. Her gentle glow became brighter and clearer. Her entire person seemed to be carved out of white jade. She suddenly stopped on a rooftop. She stepped on the green-tiled house and looked forward. Meng Jian was covered in blood. His face was pale, but his expression was calm. He stood 10 meters away and looked at her quietly. Lu Yurong frowned. You want to kill me? Yes. Lady Lu, I like you very much. Meng Jian said slowly. Lu Yurong smiled. She only felt disgust towards Meng Jian. She did not like men at all. But you like Chu Li. That's why I can only destroy you. Meng Jian sighed. I like Chu Li? Lu Yurong laughed. Her face darkened, and she said coldly, Destroy me? Based on your palm technique, just now? Shadow Thunder Palm. Accumulating the power of thunder, tempering the body, and transforming it into palm energy. My cultivation level is not high enough. I can only use 3 palm strikes a day. The remaining 2 palm strikes are enough to kill you. Unfortunately, This was originally prepared for Chu Li. Chapter 460. Very well, I'll kill both of you at the same time. Meng Jian nodded slowly. His aura gradually rose like a mountain, rising higher and higher, his oppressive aura becoming stronger. Chu Li smiled. You talk big. You want to kill both of us. Don't you think about whether you can escape with your life? You dare to kill me? If you kill me, all the disciples of the Amethyst Mountain will come after you. Meng Jian said calmly. You don't have to worry about that, Chu Li said. Meng Jian said slowly. Chu Li, you dragged Lady Lu down. I didn't want to kill her at first. I wanted to kill Princess Xiao. What a pity, what a pity. The one I liked just had to like someone else. I can only fulfill your wish. As soon as he finished, he turned into a shadow again and merged with his surroundings. Like a drop of water falling into a lake, he disappeared. Chu Li turned to look at Lu Yurong. Are we not going to kill this guy? We can only kill him. Lu Yurong sighed. Chu Li smiled. I have to thank you this time. Lu Yurong rolled her eyes. Humph, we're even now. She originally wanted to save Xiao Shi's life and make Chu Li owe her a favor. Now, the favor was written off and Chu Li saved her life. Meng Jian's Shadow Thunder Palm was indeed powerful. She still could not get rid of it. If she took another 2 palm strikes, she would be in grave danger. Bam! Chu Li suddenly punched the void and made a dull sound. Meng Jian's figure appeared and was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood in the air. Meng Jian's body movement technique was useless in front of Chu Li. In his eyes, Meng Jian, who used his secret skill, only emitted an invisible force that merged with the void. Chu Li was most familiar with the wonders of the void. Although Meng Jian's skill was exquisite, it would be better if he was more proficient. With such a shallow level of proficiency, it was no different from showing off in front of an expert. After Meng Jian landed, he clutched his chest and coughed. He frowned at Chu Li. Chu Li said, Your secret skill is not perfect. You should change it. The martial arts of the Amethyst Mountain are exquisite. I'm sure this is not the only one. All right, Chu Li, you do have some skills. Then have a taste of my Shadow Thunder Palm. Meng Jian inhaled slowly. A faint sound of thunder could be faintly heard in the sky. Meng Jian raised his right palm, and with a flash, he appeared in front of Chu Li like a bolt of lightning and pressed his palm down. Bam! Chu Li countered with Hai Duke Lu's fist technique. A strange aura drilled into his body, and his body immediately became numb and stiff as if he had been struck by lightning. As his palm struck, Meng Jian laughed heartily. Seeing that Chu Li was stiff and unable to move, Meng Jian laughed out loud. No matter how powerful you are, once you get hit by the Shadow Thunder Palm, you won't be able to escape unscathed. Ha! You know how powerful the Shadow Thunder Palm is, but you still want to take it head-on. I can only say that you are unbelievably stupid. Arrogant people are bound to be stupid. Haha, this feels great. Chu Li let out a smile. The appearance of the heavenly demonic aura puppet swept away the strange aura and returned it to his chest. Meng Jian looked at Lu Yurong, looked at her bright eyes, and sighed. Miss Lu, can you take off your veil and let me see your true face? Lu Yurong said lightly, I can't. Why bother? If I don't see it now, I can still see it after I kill you. Meng Jian shook his head and sighed. Do you really think that the Shadow Thunder Palm can kill him? Lu Yurong laughed. Killing him is as easy as flipping my hand. I don't know what kind of secret technique you have, Miss Lu, but no one can neutralize the Shadow Thunder Palm. This is the secret antique study of the Amethyst Mountain. Today, I'll let you all die together. I'll consider that as fulfilling your wishes, right? Ha ha. Lu Yurong shook her head. showing a sympathetic expression. Sigh, it is indeed a good palm technique. Chu Li opened his mouth to speak. This time, he clearly saw the route of Meng Jian's channeling, and it was indeed strange. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have been able to create such a miraculous technique. The wisdom of the predecessors was high. Every time he saw the martial arts of the four major sects, he would be in awe and sigh at his inferiority. However, he had been struck by divine thunder several times, and his body was no stranger to lightning. Meng Jian's shadow thunder palm was not at a high enough level and could not do anything to him. You. Meng Jian's laughter stopped abruptly. Chu Li said, "There's another palm? Bring it on." Bang! Meng Jian turned into a flash of lightning. With a speed that surpassed the imagination of ordinary people, he hit Chu Li in an instant. Chu Li did not take a step back. With a slight shake of his shoulder, Meng Jian was instantly sent flying. Chu Li appeared behind Meng Jian and pressed his palm on his back. Uffed! Meng Jian flew out like a stone thrown by a catapult. Chu Li once again appeared in the air, waiting in the direction Meng Jian flew to, and was about to finish him off with one palm. Amitabha Buddha, a Buddhist chant traveled far into the night sky. Fa Yuan and Fa Xiang rushed over from afar, their monk robes fluttering as if they were riding the wind. In one breath, they were still very far away. In the next breath, the two of them were already in front of Chu Li and Meng Jian. Fa Xiang caught Meng Jian and neutralized Chu Li's palm energy. However, Meng Jian spat out another arrow of blood. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and bowed. Almsgiver Chu, I pay my respects. Fa Yuan glanced at Meng Jian and shook his head as he laughed. Fa Yuan, since when did the Tempest Temple have such a harmonious relationship with the Amethyst Mountain? Almsgiver Meng and my junior brother are friends. My junior brother entrusted me to come and save you. Almsgiver Chu, I hope that you will show mercy. Fa Yuan smiled. Chu Li said, Fa Yuan, you can save him now, but not forever. He will still come to die. Fa Yuan looked at Meng Jian calmly. Meng Jian clenched his teeth and said slowly, Thank you, Great Master Fa Yuan. He killed my younger brother. I must avenge him. Amitabha Buddha, Almsgiver Meng, you are no match for Almsgiver Chu. Fa Yuan chanted and sighed. I will never let him go, scoffed Meng Jian. Chu Li laughed. Look, this guy is very arrogant, and he's proficient in the art of assassination. I'm not afraid of him, but Lady Xiao is precious. How can she take such a risk? He almost succeeded tonight. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and said, Almsgiver Chu, why don't we stop for tonight and settle our scores in the future? Chu Li smiled. Fa Yuan, he will run back to the Amethyst Mountain after tonight. Do I have to go up there to kill him? In the future, when his martial arts improves, he will come to assassinate Lady Xiao. If anything happens to Lady Xiao, will you be responsible? Fa Yuan sighed. Looks like I will have to experience Almsgiver Chu's skills. You should have said so earlier. Chu Li smiled. But with just the two of you, I'm afraid you won't be able to stop us from killing him. There's still Lady Lu. Lu Yurong smiled. Forget about me. Since Great Master Fa Yuan and Great Master Fa Xiang are here, I have to show them some respect. I'll make a move first. She fluttered away in the moonlight and disappeared into the night in the blink of an eye. Chu Li shook his head and laughed. Although the omniscient mirror could not see through Lu Yurong's thoughts, he could guess that this would be the result. He glanced at Meng Jian. Forget it. Looks like I can't kill you. A disciple of the Amethyst Mountain has to be saved by a disciple of the Tempest Temple. If this news were to spread, the reputation of the Amethyst Mountain would be ruined because of you. Meng Jian's face was flushed and his eyes were burning. He wanted nothing more than to rush forward and kill Chu Li. Chu Li said, "Fa Yuan, good move. Not only did you cripple his Royal Highness Azura power technique, you also taught him a secret Buddhist technique. I am impressed." Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and said, "Please forgive me, almsgiver Chu." Chu Li waved his hand. "I hope your wishes come true. Farewell." Chapter 461. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and watched as Chu Li gradually disappeared. His robes fluttered as he heaved a long sigh. Fa Xiang smiled. "Junior brother, Fa Yuan, why are you so afraid of him?" Fa Yuan smiled, but did not say anything. Fa Xiang said, "Almsgiver Chu's name is out there, and he has failed to kill him several times. He is indeed a dragon among men, but junior brother Fa Yuan, your martial arts skills are superb, so you should not be afraid of him." Fa Yuan smiled and said, "Brother Fa Xiang, I haven't personally experienced his prowess, so I can't describe it. Let's save almsgiver Meng first." "All right," Fa Xiang laughed and said, "This time Meng Shizhu has provoked two great masters. To be able to escape with his life is indeed a fortunate thing. If we were one step later, I'm afraid he would not be in this world anymore. His good fortune is really profound." Fa Yuan shook his head and said nothing. It was still too early to say that Meng Jian had escaped with his life. They could save him once, but they could not save him the next time. Based on his understanding of Chu Li, he would not let it go just like that. If he wanted to kill Chu Li, he would kill the other party first. Meng Jian had a grudge against him for killing his brother and was proficient in the art of assassination. He was a great threat to Xiao Shi, and Chu Li would never let him go, even if he was a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. When Chu Li was in the High Duke's public house, he was not afraid of the four major sects and was extremely daring. Otherwise, he would not have offended the Tempest Temple and was hunted down by himself. Chu Li would definitely kill Meng Jian. "Junior brother Fa Yuan, what's wrong? Are you really scared by almsgiver Chu?" Fa Xiang saw that he was troubled and chuckled. Fa Yuan said, "Brother Fa Xiang, if we want to save almsgiver Meng, we need to follow him at all times." "There's no need for that." Fa Xiang smiled and said, "Let the people from Amethyst Mountain come over. If two more people from Amethyst Mountain come, I don't believe that almsgiver Chu can really kill almsgiver Meng. Or we can send him back to Amethyst Mountain first." "This is a good method." Fa Yuan nodded slowly. "Since we've saved almsgiver Meng, we should send him back to Amethyst Mountain. But I'm afraid almsgiver Meng isn't willing and wants to continue his revenge." Meng Jian had been listening at the side and said, "Thank you, great masters." Fa Yuan looked at him in surprise. Meng Jian said, "I'm not stupid. If I can't get my revenge, I'll find someone to help me." "Then, almsgiver Meng, are you going to greet your fellow disciples, or should we send you back to Amethyst Mountain?" Fa Yuan asked. "I will ask Senior for help," Meng Jian said fiercely. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and bowed. "Very well." However, he somewhat looked down on Meng Jian. If Meng Jian had immediately returned to the Amethyst Mountain and trained hard on his own, so that he could personally avenge his brother in the future, even though he did not approve of it, Chu Li still admired Meng Jian. He did not expect Meng Jian to directly seek help from a fellow disciple. His temperament was not pure enough. Although such a person was talented, his achievements were limited. It would be difficult for him to achieve great things. Even if he stepped into the Grandmaster's boundary, it would be difficult for him to become a top-notch master. Without a brave and diligent heart, one would slack off after entering the realm beyond heaven. The Grandmaster's boundary was only the starting point for those who were truly pursuing the ultimate boundary of martial arts. The distance to the enlightened master's boundary was far beyond their reach. Compared to this, going from the foundation building to the Grandmaster's boundary was only a small step. Only by stepping into the Grandmaster's boundary would one truly begin their journey. It was obvious that Meng Jian was the kind of person who only sought comfort and did not seek to reach the pinnacle of martial arts. He was not the same kind of person as Chu Li and himself. Fa Xiang smiled and said, "May I know which fellow disciple are you looking for?" "My senior brother Zhang is a high official in the imperial house. Killing Chu Li will be a piece of cake," Meng Jian said lightly. "A high official in the imperial house. That's good. His position is transcendent. However, grudges should never end. If you can resolve it, then resolve it. Letting go is the only way to be free. If you kill too much, there will be retribution." Fa Xiang smiled. "Yes, thank you for your advice, great master." Meng Jian pressed his palms together and smiled. However, he did not agree. He did not believe in the karma of Buddhism at all. Chu Li returned to the Tianshu courtyard. Xiaoshi was standing in the courtyard in a daze. In the house, Yang Su was taking care of Xue Ling. Seeing him return, Xiaoshi let out a sigh of relief. "Did you kill him?" Chu Li shook his head. Xiaoshi's eyes wandered. "A disciple of the Amethyst Mountain is not that easy to kill. There must be a secret technique, right?" Fa Yuan and Fa Xiang saved him. The Tempest Temple and the Amethyst Mountain are together. "How interesting," said Chu Li. Xiaoshi muttered, "Logically speaking, it shouldn't be." She understood the grudges between the four major sects very well. People of different paths could not work together. The four major sects each followed their own path. Even if the Titanium Temple and the Tempest Temple were both Buddhists, they did not cultivate the same dharmic base. Chu Li said, "It should be a personal friendship. It doesn't matter if I kill him or not. He wants to find High Official Zhang Ci from the Imperial House to kill him. High Official Zhang Ci from the Imperial House." Chu Li shook his head. "How shameless of him. It's a wise move. He knows where he stands. No matter how long he cultivates back in the mountain, he won't be able to catch up to me. It's better to find someone to help him. Then you want to kill him before he finds the high official?" "Yes, with the people from the Tempest Temple protecting him. Will it work?" "That will depend on my abilities. I'll have to find someone to help me." Chu Li smiled. "Lu Yurong? I can only find her. She can distract Fa Yuan's attention. I'll make my move." Chu Li nodded. Xiaoshi shook her head. "Will she agree?" "She probably doesn't want to get involved in this trouble." "Then you're underestimating her courage." Chu Li smiled. Since Lu Yurong was involved in this matter, she was not afraid of the Amethyst Mountain. She must have something to rely on. In any case, as long as the conditions were sufficient, she would agree to help. Moreover, she only needed to distract the two monks. Meng Jian's death was not necessarily related to her. If she was an ordinary person, the Amethyst Mountain would just kill her. However, her identity was not to be trifled with. The Amethyst Mountain would most likely feign ignorance. The Amethyst Mountain might not want to go against the two High Dukes' public houses or even the imperial residence. The Mercy Temple outside the fairies' capital shone with golden light. It was magnificent. Early in the morning, the entire Mercy Temple was bathed in fragrance. The morning bell rang 3 times, accompanied by the chanting of scriptures. The sound drifted far, and the entire Mercy Temple was shrouded in solemnity and holiness. In a courtyard behind the Mercy Temple, Meng Jian was slowly moving his stiff body. The feeling of weakness still lingered in his heart. His body could not move vigorously. After using the Shadow Thunder Palm 3 times, his entire body's energy was depleted. He would need a month to completely recover. He was in the Mercy Temple. Even if he did not believe in Buddhism, listening to the ringing of the morning bell and the chanting of scriptures, he could not help but feel at peace. He had already sent a letter to Zhang Xi, the Imperial House high official. He only needed to wait for news. When his senior received the news and rushed over, he would be completely safe. Meng Jian, are you feeling better? The little monk Fa Wu entered the courtyard and smiled. I'm doing fine. I didn't think you would save me. Fa Wu. Meng Jian smiled. Our martial arts are similar. Sparring is the best way to improve. Naturally, I can't let you die. If you were to die, where else would I find such an opponent? Fa Wu smiled. That's true. Meng Jian smiled. Fa Wu said, I've seen almsgiver choose martial arts. How is it? Meng Jian's smile faded and his face darkened. Fa Wu said, Is he really that powerful? Meng Jian nodded slowly. I want to cultivate well. One day, I will catch up to him. Fa Wu scoffed. I want to defeat him completely. Meng Jian looked at him and smiled. He felt that Fa Wu would never be able to defeat the person with the surname Chu. This person with the surname Chu was too powerful. Chapter 462. Meng Jian quivered. The voice was so beautiful, and he remembered it so well. He knew who it was the moment he heard it. It was Lu Yurong. His expression darkened, and his handsome face became ferocious. The woman he liked actually helped Chu Li and betrayed him. Her death was not to be regretted. What was more hateful was that his injuries were caused by her. If she did not help him, he would not be in such a sorry state. Fa Wu turned to look at Meng Jian and asked softly, Almsgiver Meng, who is this? Lu Yurong. Meng Jian said through gritted teeth. Lu Yurong. Could it be the lady of the Ren public house? Fa Wu frowned and thought, That's her. Beautiful as a flower, but vicious as a snake. Meng Jian laughed coldly. Has Almsgiver Meng seen her face? I heard that she rarely shows her face. Not many people have seen what she looks like. Is she really that beautiful? Fa Wu asked. You're a monk, and you still care if she's beautiful or not. What dharma are you cultivating? Meng Jian stared at him coldly. Amit Ba, thank you for your guidance. Almsgiver Meng. I was too obsessed. Fa Wu quickly bowed with pressed palms. Humph. Meng Jian stared at him in disdain. These monks were so annoying. They went against human nature. It was a man's nature to like beautiful women, but these monks just had to have a beautiful skeleton. They forced themselves to imagine it as bones and dirty flesh. How unappetizing. Amit Ba, Almsgiver Lu has graced us with your presence. I apologize for not going out to greet you. Fa Yuan's voice rang in the air. I heard that your spear finger strike is exquisite. I'm here to experience it. Lu Yurong's cold voice echoed in the air. Almsgiver Lu is too kind. If Almsgiver Lu has nothing else, please do not disturb the morning classes. I will go over immediately. Fa Yuan's voice moved slowly, calm and composed. Very well. Then let's go somewhere else. Lu Yurong's voice rang. Amit Ba. Fa Yuan's voice faded away. Fa Wu's face was filled with envy. He sighed. This almsgiver Lu's cultivation level is so high that brother Fa Yuan values her so much. Humph, a pair of adulterers. Meng Jian said coldly. Which adulterers? A voice suddenly rang behind him. Fa Wu's eyes widened as he watched Chu Li appear out of thin air and land behind Meng Jian. All the hairs on Meng Jian's body stood up. His sapphire blue robe instantly puffed up and stuck to his body. Rumble. A muffled sound came from the sky. Good, there's still one more. Chu Li smiled and slammed his palm down. He did not think that Meng Jian still had a shadow thunder palm that he had not used. He was quite a schemer. Bang! Their palms collided. Chu Li's movements stiffened for a moment before returning to normal. Before Fa Wu could rush over, Chu Li's palm landed on Meng Jian's chest. Swoosh! Blood spurted out from Meng Jian's body. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and the wound from the flying knife at the same time. It was like a leaky kettle, spraying water everywhere. When Meng Jian unleashed the Shadow Thunder Palm, all of his internal organs had been emptied out. Now that he was hit by the palm, it was a solid hit. His internal organs were immediately crushed into mush. Only his skin remained unscathed. He had really become a bag of flesh. Chu Li glanced at Fa Wu and smiled. Sorry to disturb you. He disappeared in a flash, vanishing like a swan. Fa Wu originally wanted to make a move, but he had only made it halfway when everything was sealed. Chu Li had disappeared. Almsgiver Meng. Fa Wu hurriedly helped Meng Jian up and channeled his inner energy to help him heal. Once his inner energy entered, he gave up dejectedly and looked at Meng Jian with pity. Meng Jian's face turned green as if there was a layer of black gas floating around. He glared at Fa Wu with his eyes wide open. Let senior brother avenge me. Avenge me. Fa Wu sighed. Almsgiver Meng, I will help you redeem your soul. You damn monk. Meng Jian's eyes widened. His body trembled, and he breathed his last. Amit Ba. Fa Wu put Meng Jian down and pressed his palms together. He lowered his head and chanted. Fa Xiang floated over, and his expression changed. Fa Wu, Almsgiver Meng, Senior brother Fa Xiang, Almsgiver Meng is dead. Amit Ba, who did it? Almsgiver Chu. Well done, Chu Li. Fa Xiang sighed. Under their protection, Chu Li arrived calmly and left without a trace after killing. He treated the Tempest Temple as if they were nothing, as expected of Chu Li. Fa Wu finished chanting and raised his head to look at him. Senior brother Fa Xiang, Almsgiver Chu's martial arts is truly powerful. I am no match for him. Are you hurt? Fa Xiang asked. Fa Wu shook his head. He did not seem to have any ill intentions towards me. He even smiled at me. Before I could even reach out, he had already killed Almsgiver Meng. He was really fast. If he wanted to kill me, I would have died with Almsgiver Meng. Fa Xiang said, It's good that he did not hurt you. Almsgiver Chu is not afraid of the Tempest Temple at all. Is he? Yes, his martial arts is outstanding, and he has the High Duke's public house and the imperial residence to rely on. He has no fear towards the Tempest Temple. Amit Ba, senior brother Fa Xiang, I wish to return to the temple and cultivate in isolation. Very well. Fa Xiang nodded slowly. He looked over Meng Jian's body and shook his head with a sigh. Even if Meng Jian took the spirit blessing pill, he would only be able to hang on to his last breath. It was impossible for him to come back to life. Almsgiver Meng, it's a pity. Fa Wu shook his head. Meng Jian's martial arts was similar to his, and he had a similar background. Seeing Meng Jian lose his life because he provoked a strong opponent, Fa Wu felt pity for him, but at the same time, a desire to work hard. What happened to Meng Jian today could also be his tomorrow. Hence, he had to cultivate desperately to make his martial arts stronger. Fa Wu cultivated the dermic base, but he was not an eminent monk. He could not see through life and death. He wanted to live a better life and pursue more exquisite martial arts. At this moment, a novice monk ran in. Masters Junior Fa Xiang, Masters Junior Fa Wu, there is a almsgiver Zhang outside requesting to see you. He said he came from the imperial house and is looking for almsgiver Meng. Fa Xiang said slowly. Fa Wu, stand guard here. I will go welcome almsgiver Zhang. Yes, Senior Fa Xiang. Fa Wu replied. A slender middle-aged man stood in front of the Mercy Temple. He had a jade-like face and was extraordinarily handsome. He wore a green robe and stood with his hands behind his back. He had a natural and unrestrained demeanor as he looked at the Mercy Temple thoughtfully. The main door of the Mercy Temple suddenly opened. Fa Xiang pressed his palms together and bowed with a solemn expression. Almsgiver Zhang, I am Fa Xiang. Please follow me. Greetings, great master, Fa Xiang. Zhang Xi closed fist saluted. He saw great master Fa Xiang's solemn expression and felt that something was wrong. As he walked inside, he asked, How is my junior brother's injury? Almsgiver Zhang is late. Almsgiver Meng has just passed away. Fa Xiang shook his head and sighed. Junior brother Meng is dead? His injury is that serious? Zhang Xi frowned. Fa Xiang shook his head. Almsgiver Chu broke into our temple just now. Sigh. Amit Ba. Chu Li. Zhang Xi's face turned cold. Fa Xiang nodded slowly. Chapter 463. Zhang Xi stood beside Meng Jian's corpse, motionless. His face was so dark that it could drip water. Fa Wu and Fa Xiang could feel his anger and murderous intent. Almsgiver Zhang, please restrain your grief. Fa Xiang pressed his palms together and sighed. Almsgiver Meng wanted to avenge his brother, so he went to assassinate Princess Xiao of Prince N's imperial residence, but he was killed by the head chief, Almsgiver Chu. Zhang Xi looked coldly at Fa Xiang. Great master, are you saying that I should be particular about who is right and who is wrong? Is this the way the Tempest Temple does things? Amit Ba. Fa Xiang helplessly chanted the name of Buddha. The way the four major sects did things was to protect their own dignity. As long as it was their own disciples, it was wrong to injure them, and they would retaliate. If they killed their own disciples, they would naturally kill the culprit. Otherwise, anyone would dare to kill their own disciples. Almsgiver Zhang wants to go to the imperial residence of King and Almsgiver Chu's current status. He is a secret guardian of the imperial house, the head chief of the imperial residence of King, and so what? I will take his life with my own hands. An eye for an eye, great master, Zhang Xi interrupted him. Zhang Xi interrupted his words and said indifferently, There's no need to say such things. If it was the Tempest Temple, would you let him live? Almsgiver Chu has also killed disciples of our temple. Although he was a disciple who betrayed the temple, we still let him go in the end. Almsgiver Chu is righteous and should not be killed. Fa Xiang shook his head. Ha ha. Zhang Xi laughed. Fa Xiang's expression did not change as he smiled at him. Fa Wu bowed with pressed palms. He was not angry. In fact, he was curious as to why the temple's attitude towards Chu Li had changed, and they no longer wanted to kill him. On the surface, it was said that Chu Li was righteous and should not be killed. However, he did not believe it. There must be some unknown reason. As a disciple of the Fa generation, he was not qualified to know. Almsgiver Zhang, take care. Do you want to send Almsgiver Meng back to the Amethyst Mountain? No need. Just settle down here. Thank you, great master. Zhang Xi said. Benefactor Meng and junior brother Fa Wu are close friends. There's no need to be so polite. Fa Xiang shook his head and sighed. It's a pity that we can only save him once. We can't save Benefactor Meng a second time. This is fate, the cycle of karma. There's nothing we can do. Zhang Xi snorted. The disciples of Amethyst Mountain did not believe in Buddhism at all. Karma Bullsh *T. Zhang Xiai arrived at the imperial residence of King An. His body turned into a shadow and calmly passed through the layers of defense. He circled the entire imperial residence of King and finally arrived at Chu Li's courtyard. He quietly blended into the shadows under the wall. He saw Chu Li and was waiting for the moment when Chu Li let his guard down so that he could kill him in one strike. Chu Li was cultivating the heavenly demonic power in the courtyard. After devouring the inner energy of 3 shadow thunder palms, his heavenly demonic power was showing signs of a breakthrough. The heart of Azura in his chest had been continuously injecting aura into him, but it was directly devoured by the heavenly demonic energy. Unfortunately, the heavenly demonic energy did not seem to like the heart of Azura that much. It seemed that the heart of Azura was not pure enough. Chu Li knew that in order to break through the 3rd level, he would need a pure inner energy, like the inner energy of the Shadow Thunder Palm. At this moment, he noticed Zhang Xi's arrival. Zhang Xi's cultivation level was far from what Meng Jian could compare to. Even 2 Meng Jians could not match up to 1 Zhang Xiai. Chu Li estimated that Zhang Xi's cultivation level was 1 level higher than his. No wonder he dared to come directly to the imperial residence of King An. As a high official of the imperial house, his status was extraordinary, and he was not afraid of his own identity. He squinted his eyes, and the water ball formed by the heavenly demonic energy suddenly fell into his precordium. Instantly, his blood flowed like a river, and an infinite amount of energy spread throughout his body. He took a step forward and struck a shadow with lightning speed. Bang! The shadow swayed like ripples on the surface of the water. Chu Li followed up with another punch. Bang, 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 bang. Punch after punch. Both of his fists were like lightning, forming a shadow of his fists that struck the swaying shadow. Zhang Xiai felt as though he had fallen into a raging tsunami. Fists were surging towards him from all directions. Every punch carried the weight of 1,000 caddies and was unstoppable. He could not think and could only block based on his instincts. Every punch was as heavy as a mountain. Even if his inner energy was deeper and purer, in front of this pure power, he was so weak that he could not withstand a single blow. He kept retreating until he hit the wall. Bang! His body hit the wall heavily. The wall seemed to shake and was about to collapse at any time. Zhang Xiai felt his internal organs churning, and a bloody stench accumulated in his chest, ready to gush out at any time. He felt extremely aggrieved. His cultivation level was obviously higher than his opponent's, but he was forced back by brute force. When this seemingly shallow power reached a certain level, it became so powerful. What was worse was that he was 1 step too late in casting his secret skill. His opponent was 1 step ahead of him, so he could only passively take a beating and did not have the chance to cast his secret skill. Bang! He took another punch and was embedded into the wall. Cracks appeared on the wall. Uffed! Zhang Xiai spat out a mouthful of blood. After taking another punch, he finally activated his secret skill. Rumble! A muffled sound, as if it came from the sky, came from his body. His palms glowed blue and collided with Chu Li's fists. Bang! It was as if a heavy object had landed on the ground. Chu Li trembled and immediately returned to normal. His face showed a hint of joy, and he continued to punch. Zhang Xiai was shocked and angry. This Chu Li could actually block the Shadow Thunder Palm. He did not believe it, and followed up with another 2 Shadow Thunder Palms. Chu Li's body only stiffened for a moment. His hair stood up, and he continued to punch. If not for his hair standing up, Zhang Xiai would have thought that the Shadow Thunder Palm did not hit Chu Li. It did not even freeze his movements.
Once hit by the Shadow Thunder Palm, the body would stiffen and be unable to move, allowing him to do whatever he wanted. However, Chu Li only stiffened for a moment, giving Zhang Xiai no time to strike again. After casting the Shadow Thunder Palm, he needed to take a breath. The opportunity to take a breath allowed Chu Li to return to normal. Zhang Xiai could not do anything to him. Rumble. Amidst the muffled sound of thunder, the Shadow Thunder Palm kept hitting Chu Li. Chu Li's hair stood up even straighter, but his body was not affected. He was stiff for a moment before, but after that he did not stop. It was as if he was not receiving the Shadow Thunder Palm, but a normal palm technique. No matter how high Zhang Xi's cultivation level was, he could not withstand the Shadow Thunder Palm. Soon his face turned pale, and a sense of weakness surged into his heart. He desperately cast the Shadow Thunder Palm in a fit of rage, but he suddenly calmed down. The Shadow Thunder Palm consumed a lot of energy. After using it for more than 10 times, his energy was depleted. He would probably need 10 days to recover. Now that the Shadow Thunder Palm could not take down Chu Li, he did not have many chances. Thinking of this, the inner energy in his body continued to circulate according to the heart technique of the Shadow Thunder Palm. However, it did not condense on his palm, but at his feet. Swoosh! His body seemed to have turned into a sharp arrow that pierced through the air. Like a flash of lightning, he instantly disappeared in front of Chu Li. Chu Li's eyebrows twitched. The Shadow Thunder Palm actually had such a magical effect. It was really strange. However, he was not in a hurry to kill Zhang Xiai. Zhang Xi's Shadow Thunder Palm was abnormally pure. He could faintly see the 4th level of the heavenly demonic power. The Shadow Thunder Palm could be said to be a breakthrough opportunity. He could not let it go. It was a pity that Zhang Xi's cultivation level was not deep enough. He could not have endless inner energy like Chu Li. He could not use the Shadow Thunder Palm anymore. Otherwise, he could enter the 4th level of the heavenly demonic power today. It was really a pity. It would be best for Chu Li to wait until Zhang Xiai recovered his inner energy.
Chapter 464. Chu Li arrived at Tianshu courtyard and entered the house. There was only Xiao Shi in the brightly lit house.
Fine.
Yang
if you don't
Su
want
was
to practice,
taking care of
then
Xueling
don't.
in the house
Cultivating
next
the
door.
Empyrean fairy
Xiao Shi
technique
was lying
had
on the
its pros
bed
and cons.
reading
Cultivating
a book.
it would indeed
the
allow
blanket
one to
covered
defend
her
oneself,
curves,
but
her
it would
expression
also
was
change one's
lazy,
temperament,
and her
one would
face
become
was
icy
beautiful,
cold.
not
Did you
as
kill that
gentle
guy?
as they were now.
Xiao
Shi
put down the
asked,
book,
and
did Lu
asked
Yurong really help?
lazily.
Chu Li had
smiled.
already guessed
She won't
that the
wake up
Imperial
without
House
benefits.
high official
She'll
would come
help
to
lure
assassinate
Fa
him.
Yuan away.
He told
And
Xiao Shi
I'll take the
beforehand.
opportunity to kill
Xiao Shi
Meng
was not
Jian.
worried.
Oh,
she was
right.
just curious
That senior
if Chu
from the Amethyst
Li would
Mountain
kill Zhang Xia.
hasn't come out
Chu
yet.
Li shook his head.
You'll have to ask
I didn't
third
succeed.
younger sister about
Escaped.
this.
Xiao Shi
contacted
was surprised.
this senior.
Chu Li
Their
nodded.
assassination skills
the
are very
secret
good.
skill of the
You have
Amethyst
to be careful.
Mountain is very
Xiao
powerful.
Shi said,
I can't catch
yes,
up.
lady,
He's in the
you
Imperial
have to be
House.
careful.
I can't go there
martial arts
to kill
is
him.
not enough.
The Emperor might
Chu
not
Li
allow
frowned.
He had the
Xueling was
all-seeing
now
divine
at the
power.
innate mastery's
Once
boundary.
he used it,
She
he
was
could
considered
find
an
Zhang
expert
Xia
in the martial
immediately.
arts world,
But Zhang
however,
Xia was
if she
a
was
high
placed
official
beside
of the Imperial
residence,
and
he had
Xiao
always
Shi,
lived in the
it would
Imperial
seem like her
House.
martial arts
Even
was
if he found
not
him,
enough. He could
she
not
could only
barge
block
into the
a few
Imperial
attacks
House at a
to kill
crucial
him.
moment,
Fortunately,
but would hurt herself
Zhang Xia
and
did
put
not
herself
dare
in
to make a
danger.
sound.
Even if
How
he was a
long has
high
she been
official,
cultivating?
he could
We
not
can't
kill
rush
a
it.
secret
Xiao
guardian
Shi
of the
said.
Imperial House.
Chu Li nodded
They
slowly.
both had the words
Xueling's
Imperial
accumulation
House in them,
was
but they were
not
not
enough.
the same.
It was not
Xiao Shi
realistic
pursed her
for
lips
her
and
to
smiled.
break
There's
through
someone you
to the
can't
Grandmaster's
kill?
boundary.
Do you want to cultivate?
He could help
Chu
Xueling
Li
break
asked.
through to
Xiao
the
Shi
innate
was
mastery.
stunned.
But
She
the
shook her head.
Grandmaster's boundary
No,
could not help
Chu
her
Li
break
said,
through
although
directly.
I can protect you.
After
There are
perfecting the
always
innate
accidents.
mastery and entering
Your
the
own
surpassing
martial arts
state,
is the
he
most
had laid a
reliable.
solid foundation.
The assassination
for
skills
Xueling.
of the Amethyst
Her
Mountain
strong
are hard to
spiritual
defend
energy
against.
had
Increased
I'm already
her
so
comprehension.
old.
Cultivating
As long as she
martial
perfected
arts
the
is
innate
a
mastery,
waste of energy.
she would be able to break
Xiao Shi
through
shook her head.
smoothly.
If that's the case,
Xueling's
I'd rather
accumulation
not
was
know
not
martial
enough,
arts.
but
I
Jiang
inherited
Kuai's
Lu Yurong's
was.
martial
These
arts.
few days he had been
Chu
thinking
Li
about how to help
smiled.
the
The
Empyrean
Empyrean
fairy
fairy
surpassing
power.
state.
Don't
So
you
that
want to
Jiang
cultivate it?
Kuai could break through
The
an isolated
Empyrean
cultivation.
fairy power.
Eldest Master's
Xiao Shi
wedding is
muttered.
coming soon.
I think I've heard
In
of
my
it somewhere.
opinion, we should leave
Lu
tonight.
Yurong's martial
Chu Li
arts
muttered.
is powerful.
Let Xueling
Chu Li sighed.
and Yang Su
the
go
Empyrean
back.
fairy
We
power
can also
is
avoid
indeed
the
a
assassins
unique
from the
study.
Amethyst Mountain.
But there's a disadvantage.
All right, Xiao
She
Shi
cannot
nodded.
get close to men.
Early in the morning, Chu Li woke
Xiao
up
Shi
on
was
his own
surprised.
island.
Chu
He
Li
slept
said,
exceptionally
Lu
well.
Yurong is surrounded
This
by
island
women.
was his real
She doesn't
home.
get close to men.
It belonged
because
to him
she cultivated the
completely.
the Imperial
power.
residence of King.
There's
and was
such
just
a wonderful
guest.
use.
He really could
Xiao
not
Shi
feel
smiled
any sense of
and
belonging.
shook her head.
What would
Xueling
happen if I
had
were to get
already
close
woken
to a
up.
man? She was
I'm
slowly
afraid
moving
that
her
men will
limbs
lose their
in the
lives.
courtyard,
Chu Li
cultivating
said,
the Darkeen
extreme
palm.
Yin and extreme
As
cold.
the Darkeen
Men
palm
can't withstand
circulated.
this.
The extreme
In other
Yin
words,
and
if I
extreme
cultivate
cold
this,
inner energy,
you won't be able to
circulated.
stay by my
her
side.
injuries were
Xiao Shi
constantly
could not
healing,
help but
and
laugh.
her control
You
over
wanna
her body
slack
was
off and
becoming
go back
more
to little
and more
sis,
smooth.
right?
Chu Li
got
glared
up
at her
and went to the
snappily.
courtyard,
Xiao
sizing
Shi
her
pursed
up.
her lips
Master,
and smiled.
I plan to
I
go
think
into
you're up to no
isolated
good.
cultivation,
Chu
said
Li said,
Xueling.
Lady,
The
don't
injuries
worry.
this
I'll
time
stay
had
here.
greatly shocked her.
Xiao
It
Shi
was
shook
really
her head.
embarrassing.
I don't want to practice.
And she could not help at all.
If it was not for Meng Jian's anger that drove him to attack her, the lady's life would have been in danger. All right, go into isolated cultivation here. When you perfected the innate mastery, I'll send you to the Snow Lunar Pavilion to break through to the Grandmaster's boundary, said Chu Li. Yes, Xueling nodded vigorously. As Chu Li spoke, his expression suddenly changed. Xueling noticed the change in his expression and did not dare to disturb him. Chu Li suddenly disappeared and appeared on the Jade Guardian Island in the next moment. On the stargazing tower of the Jade Guardian Island, a woman in white stood quietly in front of the window, looking down at the vast lake. Her face was white and flawless. Her eyes were clear and cold. Her pupils were like black gems, shining brightly and captivating. Chu Li suddenly appeared. The woman in white seemed to sense him and said, "You're here." Chu Li took a deep breath and suppressed his turbulent thoughts. He said with difficulty, "Why did you come back? Big brother is getting married. I have to come back
For a visit. We haven't seen each other for a long time. Xiao Qi slowly turned around and looked at him calmly. Chu Li slowly said, "Long time no see." Xiao Qi's clear eyes were as calm as the lake outside. There was not a single ripple. The High Duke's public house is more prosperous than before. It's all thanks to you. You flatter me, said Chu Li. Xiao Qi turned around and looked at the vast lake again. Chu Li's mind was racing. He could not stop no matter what. He had imagined countless scenarios where the two of them would meet, but he never thought it would be at this moment, like this. In the end, his turbulent thoughts could only be condensed into these two sentences. He came to Xiao Qi's side. He looked at the vast lake and smelled the faint fragrance on her body. Suddenly, he felt his heart was at peace. All the restlessness in his heart had disappeared. The stargazing tower was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. Only the gentle breeze could be heard. After a long time, Xiao Qi's clear voice was heard. Big brother's wedding will go smoothly, right? It will. Chu Li nodded. What should be done has been done. The martial arts factions will not dare to cause trouble. The imperial court will not act rashly either. There shouldn't be any problems. That's good, Xiao Qi said softly. Chapter 465. P.S. Stimulation. I need strong stimulation. I feel exhausted after writing 6 chapters. Time seemed to flow backward, and everything returned to the beginning. Xiao Qi calmly replied, After Big Brother's wedding, I'll continue my isolated cultivation. He really has a chance of reaching the heavenly god realm? Chu Li turned his head to look at her beautiful face. Her skin was as white as suet jade, exuding a gentle luster. Her eyes were cold and tranquil, devoid of sorrow or joy. She was even more beautiful than before, giving him a sense of familiarity and strangeness at the same time. Xiao Qi gently nodded. I found a small path. Let's give it a try. Chu Li smiled. Congratulations. Xiao Qi smiled. It's all thanks to you. Without his intellectual sword severing threads of emotion, her revered sword scripture would not have advanced to this level, and she would not have reached her current level. The feelings they had for each other in the past were like spring water flowing over a rock. The traces they had left behind gradually disappeared. When she faced Chu Li, she no longer felt the excitement she had before. Instead, she only felt a sense of familiarity and closeness, as if he was her family. Chu Li smiled, but his heart was bitter and heavy, looking at Xiao Qi's beautiful face. He could not wait to pull her into his arms and hug her tightly. However, the two of them were only a meter apart. He could touch her if he stretched out his hand, but he could not reach out his hand. Xiao Qi was now out of his reach. Xiao Qi glanced at him. Is second eldest sister doing well? Second miss has returned. Yes, I've met her. She said she's doing well. King and has been cultivating in isolation. We'll have to face it eventually, Xiao Qi said faintly. How long can second eldest sister hide? If King enforces her too hard, the second lady can only disappear. Chu Li shook his head and said, From the looks of it, Princeton doesn't have that kind of intention. He wants to kill me. His hatred towards the second lady isn't that deep. He still covets the second lady's beauty. If you can't stay in the prince's mansion, let second sister go to my place. Yes. The two of them exchanged a few words and then fell silent again. Chu Li felt lonely. She looked at him and melancholic as he sat by the stone table, silently in front of the window. His eyes were staring into the void, without any feelings, and was overwhelmed with emotions. Li was not in a good mood. After a while, so she did not ask any questions. Chief Su didn't come back. Instead, yes, she quietly practiced her Darkeen palm. Xiao Qi nodded. After a while, come and go as you please, so that only you don't attract too much attention. Master, what happened? Chu Li nodded. The third lady is back. Fell silent again. After a long time, Chu Li closed fist saluted. Wasn't she an
If there's
isolated
nothing else,
cultivation?
Lady Xiao,
It's Master
I'll take my
Xiao
leave.
Taiying's grand wedding.
Okay.
Of course.
Xiao
I
Qi
have to
hesitated
personally come back
for
to
a
take a
moment
look
before
Chu
nodding
Li said,
slowly,
faintly.
Chu
All
Li
right,
disappeared
cultivate
in a
your
flash.
martial arts.
He appeared
Don't
in a
worry
small
about these
courtyard
things.
on his island.
Yes,
Xueling was
Xue
still
nodded
practicing
softly.
the darking palm.
She finally understood why her young master looked so pale. She vaguely knew about the relationship between the two of them, but she was not optimistic about their future. Although her young master was extremely intelligent and had top-notch martial arts, he was worthy of any woman. However, the third lady was different. The third lady's temperament made it impossible for her to get close to others. She was indifferent and quiet. It was as if she did not belong to this world and was aloof from it. It was as if she was born to not belong to anyone. She did not belong to any man, even if the man was her young master. Chu Li could see Xiao Qi through the omniscient mirror. She stood quietly in front of the window. Her bright eyes flickered as she stared at the lake, lost in thought. He could not feel what she was thinking. The regal sword scripture was exquisite. She had a power similar to Chu Li, just like Lu Yurong. He could not see through her thoughts. He suddenly shook his head and smiled. He knew Xiao Qi well enough. This time, he suddenly felt that things were not as bad as he thought. The regal sword scripture did not erase her memory. It only smoothed out her palpitations. The past was still in her mind. It was not difficult to win her heart again. After all, there were feelings from before. It was not difficult to rekindle old feelings. However, he was not in a hurry to rekindle old feelings. If he teased her now, he would be hindering her cultivation. When she cultivated to become an enlightened master, and he became an enlightened master, it would not be too late to rekindle old feelings. As he thought about this, he was even more eager to become an enlightened master. The omniscient mirror immediately activated and suppressed this urgency and burning desire. More haste, less speed. The path to becoming an enlightened master required enough patience and luck. It could not be rushed. In the evening, Chu Li arrived at the Island of Symphony. The Island of Symphony was bustling with activity. Mates came and went busily. The sunset covered the Island of Symphony with a layer of light, making it look even more magnificent. In the gazebo in the middle of the sea of flowers, Xiaoshi sat in front of a low table and played the guzheng. Chapter 466. But if Princeton really did that, it would be really infuriating. It would ruin the happy atmosphere of the wedding. Big Brother might only have this one wedding in his life. How could he be happy to see Princeton? He had to suppress his anger and smile. Just thinking about it made Xiao feel depressed for Big Brother. He would probably be angry in the future. Chu Li said, "If he really does that as the princess, you will have to cooperate in public. I'm afraid you will have to sleep here tonight. What will you do?" Xiao said, "Then what do you think I should do?" "I can only think of a way to stop him." Chu Li said, "I should teach him a lesson." "You can kill him?" Xiao scoffed. "If something really happens, it will be the public house's responsibility. He has his eyes on it. That's why he dared to do it. What a shameless bastard." Chu Li smiled. "You can still smile." Xiao rolled her eyes. "Quickly think of a way." "I will personally escort His Royal Highness," Chu Li said, "just in case there are any troubles along the way." "Escort him here?" Xiao frowned at him, guessing what he was planning. She muttered, "Ambush him along the way?" Chu Li shook his head. "What else can we do?" Xiao scoffed. "We can't just let him come here and cause trouble so easily, right? At the very least, we can injure him badly and make him lie down, and not cause trouble." Chu Li smiled. "That depends on how Amethyst Mountain handles it." "What does this have to do with Amethyst Mountain?" Xiao thoughts turned, and she muttered, Amethyst Mountain will definitely not let you go. You want to use Amethyst Mountain to kill Prince, and it won't be that easy. Amethyst Mountain are not idiots. They don't have an enlightened master. They won't dare to kill Prince, and I have to try. Chuli said. All right then. Seosher said. Just don't let him get here smoothly. Chuli said. This time I will need Lu Yurong's help again. Seosher's brows furrowed. She did not like Chu Li and Lu Yurong being together all the time. She felt uncomfortable looking at them, but she also knew that Lu Yurong and Chu Li were birds of a feather. The two of them had a tacit understanding and could be trusted. Although they were still opponents, they would not break their promise. Princeton found out from Su Ning that Chu Li and Seosher had already left the imperial residence and returned to the House of High Dukes. Instantly, his mood was at ease. He felt his entire body lighten up, as if the rock that was pressing on his chest had disappeared. Early in the morning, King En stepped out of the cultivation courtyard and smiled at Su Ning, who was guarding the entrance. Revered sir, we should be on our way. Su Ning pressed his palms together and bowed. King En's handsome face revealed a hint of excitement. Let's not bring too many protectors. The more people, the more eyes there will be. Just the two of us and Zheng lied. We'll visit incognito without being noticed by the High Duke's public house, and then suddenly offer ourselves. What do you think? I'm just afraid that the High Duke's public house has many spies, Su Ning said slowly, and they'll discover us in advance. Let's change our attire. Princeton chuckled and said, If we wear coarse clothes, will we still be noticed by the public house? Yes. Su Ning nodded. Princeton said, It's the E public house's grand wedding. There will definitely be a lot of people going to celebrate. No matter how many spies the High Duke's public house has, they can't possibly watch everyone. Let's sneak in, and when the banquet is about to start, we'll reveal our identities. Hee, it'll be very interesting. Thinking of this, he felt extremely happy. Chu Li's weakness was the High Duke's public house. Finding trouble with the High Duke's public house would anger Chu Li. Su Ning remained silent. Princeton scoffed. If Chu Li doesn't let me be happy, I won't let him be happy either. Seo Taiying must be mad, but he can't do anything to me. Your Royal Highness, we have to be careful of the High Duke's public house's anger. If it's not beneficial to your Royal Highness, it's better to bring a few more protectors. Su Ning said. There's no need. Princeton waved his hand. It'll be too conspicuous. If there are too many people, it's fine as it is. He was sure that the High Duke's public house would not dare to do anything to him. Yes. Su Ning did not try to persuade him anymore. The two of them talked as they walked towards his study room. When they arrived at the courtyard where the study room was located, Prince En's face darkened. He coldly stared at Chu Li, who was standing at the courtyard entrance with a smile. Chu Li closed fist saluted and smiled. Greetings, Your Royal Highness. Greetings, revered sir. Why are you here? Prince En's eyebrows furrowed. Chu Li smiled. I know that Your Royal Highness is coming out of isolated cultivation. I'm here to congratulate you. Humph. Didn't you return to the High Duke's public house? Princeton scoffed. He was furious. Who was the one who leaked the news? He glanced at Su Ning. Other than revered Sir Su Ning, no one else would know that he was coming out of isolated cultivation. Could it be that Chu Li and Su Ning had some sort of relationship? Su Ning pressed his palms together and bowed. How did Head Chief know that Your Royal Highness is coming out of isolated cultivation? I guessed. Chu Li smiled. With Your Royal Highness's temper, how could you miss the wedding of the High Duke's public house? I'll be waiting here. Princeton stared at him coldly. It did not feel good to be seen through by others, especially by someone as scheming as him. You really care about me. Princeton lowered his voice and walked in with his hands behind his back. Chu Li followed him in. Chapter 467. As dusk approached, the group of people arrived. They missed their lodging and decided to rest in a forest. They started a bonfire and roasted some wild game over the bonfire. The aroma of meat filled the air. They then took their own braised meat and dry rations. It was a sumptuous meal. The night gradually darkened. Chu Li sat quietly in front of the bonfire. The light from the fire illuminated his face. Kingen sat opposite him. His handsome face flickered under the fire. The way he looked at Chu Li changed. Su Ning sat cross-legged under a pine tree. He did not move an inch. It was as if he was one with the pine tree. Zheng Lide felt uncomfortable. It was hard for him to breathe. The atmosphere between Chu Li and King An was unbearable. Both of them wanted to kill each other. Yet they sat facing each other without saying a word. Zheng Lide knew about the knot in Prince An's heart. Back then, 10 grandmasters were killed, and the backbone of Prince An's imperial residence was broken. It almost destroyed Prince An's 10 years of painstaking effort. How could he not hate Chu Li to the core? Chu Li, on the other hand, was serving his own master. There was nothing he could do about it. Unfortunately, he had gone too far, which was why King An could not understand it. So he got rid of him quickly. If he did not kill the 10 grandmasters, King An would have a different attitude. He would have regarded him as an important talent. He would have accepted him humbly. He would have tried his best to win him over. He would not have become his enemy. Unfortunately, the world was helpless. The past could not be repeated. There was no second chance. Moreover, he suspected that Chu Li would do the same thing, even if he had a second chance. He would not let King An's imperial residence threaten the public house. Such loyalty was admirable. Unfortunately, even if His Royal Highness admired him, he would not forgive him. Chu Li looked up at King An. "How's your martial arts training, Your Royal Highness?" King An threw a piece of wood into the bonfire. "I just started. I can't kill you yet." Chu Li smiled. "If Your Royal Highness wants to kill me, you don't have to do it yourself. Revered Sir Su Ning, Commander Zheng, and the others can do it together." King An shook his head. "I want to kill you myself." "Your Royal Highness thinks you can kill me?" Chu Li smiled. "Your Royal Highness is in isolated cultivation. I haven't been idle either. I think my talent is better than yours, right?" "What do you mean?" King An frowned and said, "Do you think that I can never defeat you?" Chu Li nodded. "Your Royal Highness, you've been lying to yourself and refusing to admit it. You should understand. I don't believe it." King An said faintly, "I believe that I can kill you." Chu Li sighed. "Since Your Royal Highness is so confident, then go into isolated cultivation. I'm just afraid that before I do anything, you'll be killed by someone else." Zheng Lide glanced at him as well. Prince An was still immersed in his excitement and did not notice at all. He only felt extremely happy as he watched Chu Li get hit by one palm after another. He had no strength to fight back and was flying around like a rag doll. It was as if he was the one who was hitting him. The two of them took turns attacking with their palms as fast as lightning. As they attacked, they thought that the rumors were exaggerated. What young heroes! They were only SOSO. After 20 palms, the two of them had already sent Chu Li flying more than 100 meters into the depths of the forest and out of Prince An's sight. They felt that something was wrong. If it was any other person, 2 palms would have been enough to kill him. Chu Li took 20 palms, but he was still fine. Not only did his aura not weaken, but it was also getting stronger. The counterforce from his body was getting stronger. They could clearly feel that he was getting stronger. It was as if the two of them were not attacking him, but helping him. He was probably taking the opportunity to break through his boundary. The two of them looked at each other and felt that they could not continue like this. The wretched, middle-aged man's body suddenly grew taller. There was a faint sound of thunder coming from his body again. His right palm emitted a red glow, which matched the thin middle-aged man's purple glow. They both carried a terrifying aura of destruction, as if they could destroy everything. Bang! Chu Li took a solid hit from the palm. Boom! Like a thunderclap, Chu Li shot out like an arrow leaving the bow. He was even faster than before. Chu Li spat out a mouthful of blood. His internal organs were injured from the shock. This palm that was glowing with red light was firm and yang, but it was even more overbearing and violent. Through the omniscient mirror, he saw that the palm energy was condensed and did not dissipate. It seemed to have turned into an electric light. After entering his body, it exploded continuously, destroying every part of his body. It was really destroying everything. At the crucial moment, the heavenly demonic energy came out and swallowed the flashing electric inner energy. This was equivalent to 10 shadow thunder palms. Good boy. The two of them looked at each other and realized that their heaven's thunder palm still could not do anything to Chu Li. They were a little surprised. Was this guy a monster? They had never seen anyone who could take a solid hit from the heaven's thunder palm and be unharmed. This boy only spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura was still strong, as if it could not be broken no matter what. I don't believe it. The wretched middle-aged man became full of heroic spirit. His whole body was like a deflated balloon that was filled with air again. He stretched out and shouted. Another palm print came down. Once again, Chu Li was hit squarely in the heart. Bang! Chu Li shot out again. The surging spiritual chi followed a special path and quickly turned into an extremely pure inner energy. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels were all tempered, and then a layer of purple light condensed on his palms. It was the Shadow Thunder Palm. After the Shadow Thunder Palm, he changed to another heart technique, the Heaven's Thunder Palm. The Heaven's Thunder Palm was more overbearing than the Shadow Thunder Palm, and it put a greater burden on the body. However, after his body was tempered by the heavenly demonic power, it became more powerful, and he could easily use the Heaven's Thunder Palm. He let out a long sigh and smiled. He sighed again. The elders of the Amethyst Mountain were really smart to be able to create such a martial art. Kingen sat in front of the bonfire with a smile on his face. He seemed to be imagining the wonderful days after Chu Li was killed. Your Royal Highness, don't you need to send someone to take a look? Su Ning asked. Kingen glanced at him. What's there to look at? Life and death are determined by fate. Riches and honor are determined by the heavens. It all depends on his own luck. Zheng Lai sighed. Your Royal Highness, I think the head chief is in danger. Those two fellows are too powerful. They're from the Amethyst Mountain, right? The news of Chu Li offending the Amethyst Mountain had spread throughout the imperial residence. Everyone was guessing what the Amethyst Mountain would do. Would they dare to assassinate the head chief and go against the imperial residence? They did not think that these fellows would be so daring. They really came to assassinate him, and it was 2 top-notch martial arts masters. They did not give the head chief a way out. The way the Royal Highness handled things was too disappointing. When the head chief was faced with an assassination attempt, his first thought was to protect the Royal Highness. He only cared about the Royal Highness, but the Royal Highness hit him when he was injured. Not only did he not save him, but he also personally hit him. No matter what, he was still the head chief of the imperial residence. Even if he wanted to deal with him, it was an internal matter. When facing outsiders, they had to unite against them. The imperial residence's actions were truly heartless. There was no sense of security around someone like him. He did not know if he would be the next one to die in his hands. Once he made a mistake, it would be hard for him to be forgiven. Humph, he only has himself to blame. He was too daring and did not put anyone in his eyes. This time, he finally tasted the bitter wine he brewed himself. Kingen said lightly. He threw a piece of wood into the bonfire. It should be cooked now, right? Yes, it's cooked. Zheng Lide quickly took down the wild game from the rack. The wild chicken was roasted until it was golden brown. Its body was glistening with oil, and its aroma filled the air. However, he had no appetite at all.